Пошли. Все вместе. Какие ваши доказательства?
They want you to comply.
Cancel culture is about cancel him.
Кокаином.
Up yours. Woke moralists. Up yours.
This is systematic bullying that's happening.
Woke moralists.
Whoopsie.
Up yours.
And they believe that they can then
Woke
shut us
moralists.
up.
Up around and find out.
Up yours. Woke moralists.
They seem animalistic is what I mean.
No, they're worse than animals.
The woke mob, they ruin everything.
They stop Ben Shapiro from going to events and speaking. They stop Ann Coulter from doing it.
I will never surrender even a single inch of ground to a pitchfork mob.
You never cave to the mob.
We will never bow to the mob. Ever. No matter what.
Do you see the final expression of cancel culture in terrorist groups like
Up yours.
We'll see who cancels who.
Hey, how's it
How
going?
Good. That's it.
All right,
well,
something. I was getting all amped and stuff. hey.
Nothing else.
So you guys might notice that there's only 4 of us here right now.
Okay.
I feel like this is just getting old, being that she's literally late every week.
By now they know that she is getting off of work, so I feel like the meme is it's dead. We've beaten it to death, right?
It's gonna be great when she actually leaves and no one believes us.
That's why we do this. No one really knows who the hosts really are.
Yeah, exactly.
Every week it's just a question.
Yeah.
Living in a mystery.
Exactly.
Ooh.
So what happened?
Are we
What
being
happened this
serenaded today?
Oh yeah,
Let's
I'd
go
love to hear
ahead.
more.
Yeah, beautiful. Yeah.
So what happened?
We will all take turns.
There's so much amazing news to talk about this week. I feel like this is a great week of things. We got.
Is there
Elon
ever
Musk
good news?
touring Auschwitz. Well, no, okay. There's no.
I don't
good
know about
news,
a great week.
Oh,
I
you
don't know if
actually
that's the way to
you meant like
describe it.
funny news. Okay, I thought you.
Oh yeah,
I
lots
thought
of
you were
funny
being-
news.
I thought you were being sarcastic.
Oh no. There's more horrors than I ever thought possible on a daily basis. Yeah, all that shit for sure. But then there's also like a lot of silly stories in between it all. That we should.
Yeah.
I don't know. Pepper our conversation.
Yeah, there's a lot. I'm fascinated by the potential for Texas, I guess, sect-D'ing as secede, but there's a sign that's my favorite sign ever. I made it as a thumbnail of this video where they're holding up a sign and instead of it saying secede, it says sect-D, and they're like looking. My favorite shit ever. But it's all I don't know if you've
always
all
the
been
dumbest
following
fucking
it.
people. Oh my god.
It's amazing. We're basically seeing the South rise again. And we're learning, I'm learning that you can actually just ignore the Supreme Court if you disagree with their rulings. Texas is teaching us that. So I'd like to talk about that today. Yeah.
Please. Do you want to go into that? Because I was like, I started to read. I'm like, you know what? I don't care enough to read this.
Yeah, it's very complicated. But
I'm into other shit right now.
Yeah, to put it in the easiest terms possible, the Supreme Court surprisingly said that Texas can't use razor wire to cut up migrants, at least temporarily, right? Because this has killed migrants. And there's this dispute between... Yeah, actually, I think it might have been 2 children, if I'm not mistaken, but it's been...
Tortured and killed 2 kids.
Yeah, it's literally deadly and brutal. And there's this dispute between Border Patrol in Texas and then the federal Border Patrol. And basically, the Supreme Court's, in a 5-4 decision, said that Texas has to take that down. Texas is now defying the Supreme Court, and they're putting up more razor wire because they want to keep killing kids and be brutal. And they're basically saying that since the federal government has gone rogue and they're allowing an invasion to come into the country, they have to do this.
By the way,
right? Migrants. A lot of the people who are coming here, we actually destroyed their countries. For those who don't know, with our drug war. Meddling, just it's a long history, right? Can't get into that. Lots of textbooks that I can recommend though. Yeah. And now other states, I think almost every single GOP controlled state with the GOP governor has basically signed a letter supporting the defiance of the Supreme Court for Texas. And there's all this talk of the South rising again. So it's getting really interesting. You know, that Civil War movie that we saw, it might just be straight up nonfiction by the time that movie releases. But, you know, it's a very, very simplified version of the story. But like they want to be as cruel as possible to migrants because that's how they win elections. Like if you'll notice, you know, whenever there is an election year, there's this fear mongering about a caravan. I mean, they always hate immigrants, but like they really ramp up the hysteria during election years, but they don't actually ever want to do anything to address the situation in a meaningful way, right? Like I think that the obvious solution is you have to get actual immigration reform where you have resources and people to deal with the influx of migrants. But we're to the point now where it's like even the Biden administration is like, no, we don't even want to allow them to seek asylum, right? We just fuck them all. That's the stance of the U.S. government, but that's not enough for Republicans. Where now it's like, no, we actually want to kill them as well. Literally, like that's what's happening. But I mean, the reason why this is going to be a persistent issue is because it serves capitalism, right? These corporations that fund both Democrats and Republicans, they really benefit off of this cheap labor, right? But if you actually give amnesty to these migrants, then you can't pay them like, you know, really, really cheaply. You actually have to recognize their rights, give them political rights, voting rights. And so it's just easier for them and cheaper for them to keep exploiting them in perpetuity. So that's why the situation is continuing. And even in a perfect world, if Democrats had all three branches of government and they were able to craft some sort of immigration reform, I have no hopes that it would be something that is actually humane, because the one humane decision is going to be the most controversial, which it shouldn't be. Like, obviously, we make them all citizens. We give amnesty to all of them. This was not controversial even when Reagan was president. He gave amnesty to millions of migrants. But all of a sudden now, we can't just not give them amnesty. We have to keep them in a perpetual state of limbo. And if they try to cross, we have to kill them. Don't allow them to seek asylum. So it's racist. America is a very racist country. Our politicians are racist and cruel. And because of this issue, because Biden isn't being cruel enough, Texas wants the Sec D. That's where we're at. Thoughts?
Yeah. Well, I was going to say it would be really fucked up if America fights two civil wars for the right to torture non-white people, because that would kind of be the reason here, right? It's like he doesn't recognize states' rights. He doesn't recognize the ruling of the Supreme Court. And so you want to put up the barbed wire. I mean, I know it's being sold as this is about states' rights, and this is obviously about tyrannical government, and Joe Biden is trying to overstep his powers. But I mean, when it gets down to brass tacks, that's basically it. Greg Abbott wants to put up shiny torture wires that hurt, you know, children. So
yeah, it's sad. I think that you know, legally speaking, I think Kyle Kalinske, he did a great video about this, how like when it comes to the jurisdiction of the federal government, like they control the border. Texas doesn't get to usurp the federal government, right? There's the supremacy clause in the Constitution, but they're basically trying to do that. And you know, Texas wants to make it seem as if this is one of those situations where the founders envisioned, okay, this is the government going rogue. There's an invasion and they're not fulfilling their obligation to protect us. And it's just, you know, it's hysteria on top of hyperbole. You know, Greg Abbott's AG, the very corrupt guy, what's his name? I'm blanking on his name. Ken Paxton. He's saying, look, Biden is effectively working with the cartel because he is allowing them to bring people into the country. Like, it's so absurd. We're so far detached from reality that, like, I don't know how the situation can ever be fixed when people are so corrupt and so evil. But we will hear less about this, as is predictably the case after the election. That's when the hysteria kind of dies down.
I was just going to say, it seems like every so-called invasion just coincidentally coincides with an election year. Like it's
right.
Every 4 years.
Very interesting how that always happens.
Yeah.
And then midterms as well. Often. It's just like, how weird.
Yeah. It's the migrants. They schedule it that way. You can blame the migrants.
Right.
It's hard for me to follow it, like talk about immigration closely, because I just find all of it is just so there's no one that's in national politics that seems to, at least with any kind of power, that seems to be putting forward any real message or solution, or that's even anything based in reality. Like when you talk about how even Democrats are far right on this issue, like they are, and it's just there's no one out there with a clear voice who's a leader in a leadership position.
I wonder how John Fetterman feels.
Shout out to
about
Ole who dropped in and she said, "Please let the guys know the show's looking extra white tonight while they're talking Civil War."
Here, let me change I could change my light temperature to there we go.
Yeah, exactly.
I don't think
it's really sad.
I'll do the exact opposite.
He's going powder.
There's going to be a civil war. The South will rise again. 50 state sweep from Donald J. Trump.
All right there, Tim Pool. Amazing.
Yeah, it's just this. It's so ridiculous. And one of the most infuriating things about this is every fucking time, Republicans do the same thing, Democrats go along with it. And this time we have John Fetterman, who's really beating the drums hard against migrants after he ran as somebody who wanted to be sympathetic towards them because his wife was undocumented. So you would think this is like about humanity. But no, he's saying, oh, there's a crisis at the border. Okay, to the extent that there is a crisis at the border, it's not like there is a literal fucking war or an invasion like they want you to believe. It's that people aren't able to have their not amnesty, their claims for asylum to get processed because oftentimes there's an influx and there's just not enough people there. You give more money, you supply more resources there so that way there isn't this bill. It's just there are solutions to this. We don't want to find them because it serves capital. That's the bottom line.
Well, also,
and it's really
the majority
frustrating.
of illegal immigrants in the U.S., they arrive there by the magic of planes, and then they overstay their visas. That's who the majority of legal immigrants are in the United States. It's not these caravans of people smashing into the border, and the only thing that can stop them is barbed wire or anything like that. Like it's such an obvious ploy to just drum up people's already deeply held xenophobic beliefs and get them angry around election time and get them real mad. And this time, it actually could scale up to actually having like a conflict between states and federal rights, which is scary.
And the language is really what I think should give people pause. This whole talk of invasion and using words like, oh, this is like a war on our borders, a war on our people. And the way that they're trying to connect the dots to that is they're saying, well, look, they're smuggling in fentanyl. When, I mean, fentanyl arrives through legal ports of entry. Like, it's not like migrants have backpacks on. They're like, I've got my that's not the, it's just, but people don't know, right? So they just, they concoct these ideas about how, man, all of my problems are because of immigrants, right? I would be doing better if, they weren't here. Like, we're all acknowledging that like, the situation always could be better in the United States. So rather than blaming like capitalism or corruption, immigrants are just the easiest scapegoat ever. They always have been. And so that's why every 4
Hezbollah.
years...
Don't forget Hezbollah. MS-13 is teaming up with Hezbollah together for the first time to bring Chinese fentanyl into TikTok. It's happening.
Oh, well, I haven't even heard that, but I'm surprised I haven't.
All true. It's happening.
Wow.
Can I retire? I'm so
I would
tired.
I would love
None
to
of you
tired of all
you
this
realize we're all in too deep.
It's just like this, I feel like after how long, it's been almost 10 years of me covering this shit. Oh my God. It's just like seeing the same narratives pop up every 2 years. And how short are your memory? Like, how do regular people fall into this shit? Especially people that are older who have seen this their entire lives, seen the same bullshit narratives every couple of years. How fucking stupid do you have to be? Like, we can, yes, there are problems with the media, of course, but at some point, take some fucking ownership over your goddamn brain. You people are fucking stupid to fall into any of this shit. It's unbelievable to me.
Yes.
Oh, yes, you are back.
Oh, I
didn't know you were gone.
I froze. What I was going to say was, what I was going to say, do you hear me now?
That's what's going to be.
Everyone hear me?
No, I hear you fine.
Yeah, we hear you.
Am I insane?
Like the unintentional shade of being like, oh, I didn't even know you were gone. Oh, I didn't
mean that. I did not mean that. Yeah, I see that now. I'm sorry, brother.
Yes, you're
I'm gonna
back.
carve, gonna carve Portland out of the real America when when the Civil War comes down.
When you rise.
Hey, if it joins Canada, I'm good with that. I like Portland. No problem. No problem.
Yeah, Portland is awesome. Yeah,
I would love to join
I'll
Canada.
graciously accept Portland in the Canada.
Oh my God! Listen. I would love that. If that's not the case, then I'll just come myself. But either way.
What I was gonna say was this is the country where a decent amount of the voting public every 4 years goes, I don't like how things are under Democrat/Republican incumbent. I'm going to vote for the Democrat/Republican challenger. Rinse, wash, repeat every 4 years, back and forth, as if that's going to do anything.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. It's the never-ending pendulum. Right, where it's like, things are bad. It must be the president. Oh, it's the other president now. Just
I think the only thing that's kind of upsetting that pattern right now is the fact that, like, I think in some ways the right kind of went too far. Like, they overplayed their hand with the Roe v. Wade thing, thinking that this was actually going to, like, not drive voters, but it really does. Like, having your bodily autonomy taken away really does. Like, even in red areas and like Kentucky and places like that, I don't know if that's a pattern you're going to keep seeing happening. But like that, I think that's the only thing that basically held off the red wave, right? Rather than there being like this big.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's one of those issues that galvanizes people.
It's also helping Democrats down ticket too. I think that's like the motivating factor down ticket races, honestly.
We're not as bad. we're not trying to get medieval with it. You know, we're not going back to biblical times. That's what we got. Well,
that's
at least
the standard now.
Yeah, not here. In other parts of the world, yes, we are.
Yeah. Also this week, I mean, basically, I don't want to say it's over because it's not over until it's over, but I mean, it's pretty much over. It's going to be Trump and Biden. And, you know, everybody's like, oh, my God.
Nikki Haley's got that Haley energy. That's Haley momentum.
I went to predict it, and I put down all my money on general election 2024 being Nikki Haley versus Dean Phillips. I'm pretty sure that's going to be it. I'm pretty sure that's going to be. I do have to say, maybe because I just wasn't paying attention to the Democratic primary at all, because it literally does not matter. Joe Biden is obviously the president of the United States, and incumbents always, at least in modern day, go to the general election. But I did not realize that Dean Phillips was going to absolutely give Marianne Williamson a shellacking. I was not ready for that.
Yeah,
that's true.
I was not expecting that either.
He's
worse than Biden. He just said he would make Elon Musk a part of his administration. The man is a rube. Why are we voting for him again, Democrats?
I think that the one difference is. I think the difference for him is just that he's a Congress person, so it's like I guess maybe it appears he appears more legitimate to people that don't want Biden.
Yeah,
but I actually think it's just because he spent every single minute of his campaign in New Hampshire. I think you're giving him way too much credit.
Oh, did he? I didn't even know that. Okay.
Yeah, that was hurrah.
Because the first, he wanted the big first splash, I guess.
I mean, New Hampshire's the best state to do it in because it's so small. You can actually meet everybody who's going to vote in the Democratic primary.
And also, Biden wasn't on the ballot. Like the DNC is completely ignoring the primary process. So Biden won as a write-in candidate.
I saw that.
Which means it's done.
Yeah, like so it's over.
Any hope that you had, throw that shit out the window. If he can win a write-in campaign, he's got it locked up. You know, which sucks. We always hope that something crazy will happen, but no, everybody said we don't want a Biden v Trump rematch, but you all voted for that, so that's what you're getting. So don't complain, motherfuckers, because that's
I do think if there was a real challenger, and also you'd have to add if the DNC actually allowed a real primary process, like if there was, I don't know, like let's say like I don't like him, but Gavin Newsom, for example, if he was in the race and actually campaigned against Biden. I think there'd be a solid shot if somebody with a national profile. You have to imagine a world where they're actually attacking Joe Biden, where they're actually calling for, where they're actually on television. No, Dean Phillips. The fact that Dean Phillips got any votes at all, and he's like a wet piece of paper.
That's the protest vote. But Joe Biden won overwhelmingly with write-in because the Democratic base historically goes with the incumbent. It's that simple. It's the same for the Republican base too.
Yeah, it's not a surprise.
The hardcore establishment base, the people who pay their dues to the party and things like that.
But that's also because there's no actual process being. That's because there's no actual primary being allowed. If there was an actual primary battle and it was positioned as a primary fight and it was positioned as this, like, you can vote for this person instead. Again, this is a world that doesn't exist, but I'm saying if this world existed, there
maybe in a couple decades,
because of the level of discontent with Joe Biden, people are very dissatisfied
with the party. Older people who vote in the primaries are lock and step with the party. They know that the incumbent won, and that is their best way to win. And for them, it's just about the party winning. It's not about any specific individual policy that they feel strongly about. Again, I'm talking just about the Democratic base, the primary voter, the hardcore group that pays their dues, goes to the little meetings, all that stuff. They will always vote for the incumbent. It will never happen.
Yeah, but during a larger primary fight, there's more people tend to come out to vote. Obviously, right now, while an incumbent, you're going to get.
It would still be an uphill battle for sure, but I don't think it would be. I'm not saying I'm not fighting with you because I like it. I'm just laying down what I think are the facts and what I think would happen no matter what for an incumbent, obviously. It's different if it's not an incumbent. People feel a little bit more open to stray away from whatever the party is, pushing that they want.
I do it. Yeah. I agree with you largely. I just think because Biden is like Biden specifically, like his approval rating is incredibly low. We're talking low 30s.
Not among Democrats, though.
People think he's too old. People want someone else. The issue is they don't know what that someone else is. But he is sure not it. But it's. I got to look at recent data on this, but I'm sure even among Democrats, it's not under 50, but it's still lower than it has been in the past compared to, say, Obama. It has to be. There's no way that Biden is stronger going into a second term than Obama was. Like, there's no way.
Yeah, it's certainly possible he's not. I'm pretty sure his overall disapproval ratings are actually lower than what Trump's lowest was. But among the Democratic base, I'm pretty sure that. I mean, I just saw a recent poll where something like 53 or 56% of Democrats, a majority of Democrats, consider what's going on in Gaza to be a genocide.
I saw that poll.
The overwhelming majority of Democrats, though, still support Joe Biden. I mean, I think they are able to look at these two things as, and they're not.
Well, support Joe Biden compared to what? Support him compared to Trump, or support him compared
to?
Right. No, of course. But I mean, you could have a disapproval of the president and still vote for him. You don't have to approve of the president and vote for, and that means you have to vote for him. You know what I mean? Like, I can disapprove of Joe Biden, but still feel compelled come November to go into the voting booth and vote against Trump by voting for Joe Biden. That doesn't mean I approve of Joe Biden.
The issue is, it's not among the base. The issue is with someone who has such low enthusiasm around him. The issue is getting out people who aren't, dedicated Democratic voters to come out and vote for Biden. Like, that's, he won in 2020 because, or at least partly because the youth vote was so strong. He's not, at least as of now, he's not going to have anywhere near that kind of support with younger voters that he did in 2020. And that's always the issue. That's always going to be the worry with, Democrats generally, the worry is getting people out to vote who would not normally vote, but would vote Democrat if they felt compelled to. And that's always the issue. Last time Biden won because Trump was terrible. Like, people voted against Trump. This time, they're kind of riding on that again. Like, they're hoping that's going to be enough because, what else? Not just, there's things have gotten done.
David
like
freeze for everybody or?
No.
No.
Are we all frozen?
I froze then, I guess.
Something's going on with your wireless.
I don't know what's going on. I got to figure it out. All right.
Oh, I was like, you
I'm
seem
ruining the show for everybody.
Show for everybody. I don't feel like you're freezing on my end. I don't
just
even
jump
notice
in
it.
Just jump in mid sentence for every single person. Is everyone frozen? This ends the topic. But anyways, I don't know. Whatever. speculating about the election just generally is getting kind of tiring because
oh yeah,
we don't know what's going to happen.
And listen, it doesn't like it's not going to get much better from here in terms of like the Democratic Party's bench, right? Like if you look at public opinion polls within the Democratic Party, it's like 33% Kamala. The next up is Buttigieg. Like we're getting the neoliberal
President John Fetterman, baby, it's coming.
Oh God, that's possible. That's possible. Republicans are boosting him now. They love him. It's just it kind of feels like
I'd
it's
pick
hard
Dean
to be
Phillips
optimistic.
over John Fetterman.
Maybe
Ooh,
Fetterman will be
tough.
the candidate to unite the parties.
That's tough. I feel like
Y'all
we
are
should call him
depressing me. This is a
Fetterman.
depressing conversation.
His name should be John Fetterman because
Someone should ask John Fetterman
cinema.
what he. Someone should ask John Fetterman, Mr. It's not xenophobic to talk about the crisis at the border. Someone should ask Mr. John Fetterman what he thinks about all these states defying.
Did you see
Supreme
Robert
Court on the
Kennedy's
border.
post? He's just
Oh, yeah,
going
he thinks
full.
that-
It's like it's time for trial by combat style stuff. I was like, what are you
The
going to do?
Democratic
With the
Party
president
left me. I didn't leave the Democratic Party.
That's literally what John Fetterman said, almost verbatim. He had an interview with the New York Post. He's a fan of them, by the way. They said this, and he said that the Democratic Party left him. Like he said that. So he's on his "why I left the left" phase. By the way, it's so fucking.
The
wild.
Democratic Party left him.
Or the left left him. It was something of that effect. Like that's why
And
he
why?
can't be a
Didn't say
progressive.
Why? Why did they leave him? What
Because we're
happened? They
too
walked-
extreme on immigration and
Because he got his
Israel.
votes.
He
That's
got
the
what he
votes.
wanted.
I got my votes. Yeah, he got the bag.
It's
So,
because he's racist.
Okay, so I'm like,
he's racist
okay,
against
even-
Palestinians.
And he's pro-genocide, apparently.
So there's a
that's-
reason why they left him. So he can say all the time. He can say, "Oh, they left me." It's a good talking point. It makes good for like for people to repost all that good stuff. But why did they leave you? And when you know why they left you, it makes sense. So if you're saying you're riding with this, if you're saying you're part of the left, if you're saying that you're pro X, Y, and Z, there are going to be some things that are just wrong. And if you support wrong, this is why the Democratic Party or the left or the progressives will walk away from you. So that's
It's
it.
just a way
I
of
mean,
pretending it's a way of pretending that he's been consistent and everyone else has gone further left than he has. Meanwhile, he's
So how
clearly
far
been
left was
very
he?
inconsistent.
Yeah, exactly. You've been riding the fence. We need people to be standing 10 toes down, what they say now, standing on the business. And that's not what he was doing. So
Yeah. And he's just going out of his way to like stick his middle finger up to a lot of leftists that like helped him get elected. It's not like everybody thought that he was going to be a panacea or the second coming of Bernie Sanders. But, he was just, first of all, he had the advantage of running against Conor Lamb in the primary and then against Dr. Oz in the general. So he would have been best if he was just the standard Democrat. But there were some elements about him that were progressive, if not populist. He also ran, I think, a really good campaign. He had young people doing his social media. They were shit posting. And I think that's, it kind of humanized him to make him seem like a normal person. But then he got elected and then he's like, oh, fuck everyone. Actually, I'm a Republican.
The thing that helped him the most, and I've said this over and over again, and I feel like everyone else has like sort of looked over it or past it, is that I don't know if you guys recall, but right after the 2020 election, where it was still sort of up in the air if Joe Biden really won, because Pennsylvania was still counting the votes, he put himself on TV, because he was the lieutenant governor, over and over again as the defender of the election. As we're going to count these votes and Trump will not steal this. Biden won. He went out there and he put himself out there as like, the resistance libs hero. So he was able to get those type of voters to vote for him, while also sort of hinting that he was a progressive for leftist or left-leaning voters to vote for him. And he got a large sort of swath of Democrats from all over the board. And I think that's overlooked in why he won. Because if he didn't put himself out there as like Donald Trump foe right after the 2020 election in saving Pennsylvania for Biden, then I don't know if Conor Lamb would have lost, because he would have had that voting cohort to vote for him, because he was the more centrist candidate, at least, in that election, or at least that's how he presented himself in that election, I should say.
Yeah, that's fair. Yeah, bleak times.
Weak. I mean, very, very concerning times. I am like, geez, how are we, and it's like, whatever we say, people get a little tense about, but I think that right now, I don't think people should not vote, especially, marginalized groups, because we worked really, really hard to get votes, to be able to vote. So having that conversation, I think, is problematic. But having concerns, having reservations, with what we have going on with our options, I think, we just got them, okay? With how our country has been, how we've seen our country's leaders support genocide. That's largely on the scale. So people are looking at, if something like this were to happen here, what would our president do, right? We don't want that to happen again. How stable is he? Now they go into all of these things, and I think rightfully so. Having to see somebody who was very problematic, somebody who has broke all the laws, so not even showing up to NAM one debate, just doing what he want to do, still be considered as a probable candidate for president is crazy to me. And I'm talking about Donald Trump. I think that's also problematic. That's very telling about where our country stands. And I don't know. It's scary times. It really is.
Yeah, we kind of like take it for granted, because I feel like we're so conditioned to just like accept Trump shenanigans because we see it all the time. But it really is like, it is crazy to think about it. Like, this dude sailed through the GOP primary. I say sailed past tense because, I mean, come on, he's got it locked up already. And he has 91 charges against him. He's been indicted 4 times. He could conceivably be the GOP nominee and be found guilty. Like, it's wild to me. And then they're just like, I don't care. That's our guy. Also, not to mention, like, he was found liable for rape and fraud, and Republicans are just like, I don't care. Fake news, or I don't care. Like, that's one of 2 responses. It's a cult, and it's shocking that the dumbest possible person has such a huge cult of personality around him. But I mean, I don't expect smart people to even be part of a cult of personality. So, it's not that shocking, I guess. It's just, I don't know. It's a little bit sad, right? And then you have the Democratic Party, not to both sides it, but like, there are issues with the Democratic Party where the base, they just will go with whatever the establishment wants, right? Like, they're very loyal. Like, look at the race in California. Also very depressing. So you have Barbara Lee running, the most consistent progressive, anti-war when nobody else was. I think her record is impeccable. She's in 4th place in the California Senate race. And the person who's winning is Adam Schiff, who's just a pretty run-of-the-mill centrist Democrat. He's now LARPing as a progressive, saying he supports Medicare for all when he doesn't. And then in 2nd place, you have Steve Garvey, a former baseball player. And so, like, and then you have, Katie Porter, she's in 3rd place. But it's like, you would think that the Democratic Party, because this is a very deep blue state, they would opt for the most progressive options, but the 2 best options are polling the worst. And Barbara Lee isn't even like a contender, which is so depressing, to see. And if I watched this debate, I did a video about that, and they were all asked about Israel-Palestine, and Barbara Lee, by far and away, was the only person who was very clear and consistent. She probably could have defended her position better, but I mean, for the most part, she's had the record to back it up. She's like, look, I was right when it comes to the war on terror. I'm right now. Like, we're doing the same thing. It's spiraling out of control. We're watching history repeat itself. But it's just, I guess it's not resonating, or that issue isn't as salient to Democratic Party voters, or at least rank and file voters. And it's sad. Katie Porter also has really been disappointing. I think she's good on every other issue, but she's so bad on this issue. So she's trying to both sides a ceasefire, where she's saying she supports a ceasefire, but you can't just say ceasefire and have it be a magical word. There needs to be certain conditions that are met in order for us to get to the point where we can do a ceasefire. So she supports a ceasefire, guys, but not right away, not today. You've got to do certain things. And so it's so wild to me that, like, again, we have another situation where Democratic Party voters are given the opportunity to select a true progressive in Barbara Lee. I mean, she's as real as it gets when it comes to progressives, right? She is a Bernie Sanders. And they're like, nah, we'll go with Adam Schiff. Okay, I don't get that, but I mean, he's the establishment one. Nancy Pelosi's bestie, so they're going. So I'm frustrated with the Democratic Party's base too, and it's hard for me to like grapple with reality that like they don't give a fuck about the left. They're just liberals, and they don't care what progressives want. Maybe if Nancy Pelosi endorsed Barbara Lee, then they'd have a change of heart. But they're rocking with Adam fucking Schiff. Like the dude has the personality of toast, and like. They're going with him. He has no. It's just it's so frustrating. The predicament
I think this goes back to the conversation about like the level of support for Biden from the Democratic Party faithful. It's just Adam Schiff is very familiar to a lot of those diehard Democratic like party voters. He's on. He was all over TV talking about Trump for 6 years. Like he's that kind of Democrat and. It is surprising considering it's California. You'd hope there'd be a little more people who are maybe a little more active in the party who are not so brain dead. I would be curious to see what would happen if Barbara Lee dropped out and supported Katie Porter. Not that Katie Porter, I didn't watch the debate, but I can only imagine how terrible her answer was on Israel. But, compared to Adam Schiff is a disaster.
Oh, he was just in line with the Republican, yeah.
Yeah, so I'd be curious to see what level of support Katie Porter would get if she got Barbara Lee's support. Considering Barbara Lee is behind, obviously I would prefer Barbara Lee, but considering how far behind Barbara Lee is, I would hope at some point she understands that the best thing to try to do is to support Katie Porter and hopefully defeat Schiff, unless they don't like each other either. So I don't know.
Yeah. I mean, during the debate, I think that Katie Porter, if you put aside that portion, she was really strong. And she was calling out Adam Schiff's corruption, essentially. He tried to make it seem like he cares about climate change, but she's like, well, yeah, you said that you took on fossil fuel companies before you were a congressman, but when you got to Congress, you took money from them. And I think that was really strong. Whereas Barbara Lee didn't necessarily attack the Democrats. She kind of just focused her fire on the Republican. And I wonder that like, if she went straight up and attack them, would that work? I'm not really sure, but like maybe it might be the case that they're splitting the progressive vote, but it's hard to say. It's just a really frustrating situation because I feel like this is one of those situations to where if you're a really engaged voter in California, then it's not even like for a second there's no debate. It's like, oh yeah, obviously Barbara Lee. So the fact that she's like in fourth is just kind of depressing to me if I'm being honest. But I mean, like, I'm biased because I'm always going to vote for the most progressive, the most leftiest person. But like, I mean, it's California. Like if you're voting for the centrist there, but as David said, he was the guy who got headlines for attacking Trump. Trump attacked him back. And that's what plays well right now.
It's sort of unbelievable that progressive or left-leaning candidates didn't see that was the way things were going, and at least like even just played it up. Like the Democrats who are doing the best are honestly the people who are most forcefully anti-Trump. Just I mean, obviously leftists and progressives
I wouldn't say Katie
are
Porter
anti-Trump.
wasn't, though. Yeah.
But they unfortunately, the Democratic base doesn't want a candidate that's focused on policy, number one. They want a candidate who's focused on stopping Trump, number one. I mean, I hate that that's the case. And there's nothing saying that you couldn't be building up that sort of that sort of reputation about yourself and run a campaign like that. And then when you get into office, obviously still be anti or against Trump, but focus on policy. Like there's no reason we're constantly seeing corporate Dems and centrist Dems do the bullshit during campaigns where they pretend to be somebody they are not.
Yeah.
I don't know why the left doesn't play that game, but without the evilness. Like play the game of like putting forward what the base wants to hear that they also agree with. It's just like they don't run on that, but they agree with it too. Like they're against Trump, but they're not running on that. And they always trot it out too. There's more to this than being just anti-Trump. Well, yeah, of course, but we need you to get in office first. Yes. So why don't you just fucking play the game first and just be Mr. Anti-Trump, Mrs. Anti-Trump, and then once you get into office, you put that aside, still be anti-Trump, but you focus on policy.
A lot of it is
So
who
the
media
opposite.
invites on for these conversations, though, right? Like that, a CNN or MSNBC is more inclined to, I think, bring on Schiff because they know that's his only focus, as opposed to bringing on, Katie Porter to discuss Trump. They'll bring on Katie Porter to discuss, corporate greed. And again, those appearances will be occasional compared to like Adam Schiff, who's on TV all the time talking about Trump. Whereas, I guess what you're saying is just pretend to be an addict, like don't talk about policy at all as someone on the left. That way you get interviewed for Trump.
Well, he's saying if you get elected into a position based on your lies alone, then once you get into power, start to do good things. So it would be the opposite of what Republicans do. They say, hey, I'm going to stop all these imaginary problems I'm going to make up, like trans kids coming into your beer cans or something like that. This is going to actually be about something completely different. And then they get into power and they do nothing except make things worse.
It's so sad.
For example, a lot of leftists and progressives didn't want to focus on like January 6th, for example. They wanted to focus on policy. Well, you know what? The Democratic base is fucking obsessed with January 6th. It was a big deal. I think they're a little bit too, obviously I'm someone who covered it intensely as someone who covers the far right. But, the Democratic base is a little bit overly obsessed. Now, I mean, we saw that, you might have seen that MSNBC clip where one of the MSNBC hosts has on that Capitol Police officer this year. It was the end of 2023. No, it was earlier this year. And he was crying, thanking him for saving the country on January 6th. I mean, that's ridiculous and over the top to act that way. But you know what? The Democratic base wants to hear it, so fucking play the game. Just act like January 6th is the biggest deal to you. And then once you get elected into office, you focus on policy.
I think it's just hard for honest people, honest politicians, the few that there are, to pretend to be someone they're not. Like that's like if you're someone who actually cares about real issues, it's hard for you to pretend to care about something else. I think is the problem.
Wait, but I'm not saying you have to be like, I'm a Trump supporting progressive who also thinks January 6th was great, but I'm going to pretend those things were. I'm not saying that. Like progressives and leftists, they might not put January 6th on the same scale. They might think it's funny even, but I think everyone agrees that the fucking right wingers were out of their mind that day. Some agree it was an existential threat, and some think the right lost their mind and did a really funny, sad thing. And they look like idiots. Regardless, though, you don't agree with the people who were there on January 6th, So, I mean, you could just basically run on I don't know, January 6th sucked, it was horrible. And then
it's not what you run on, though. It's the identity that you develop over the years that you were in media. And like, unless you make your entire identity talking about Trump like Adam Schiff did, and he did that for years.
Look what he's doing for Adam Schiff.
It's hard to then
for Adam Schiff, though.
Yeah, but that's what I'm. Yes, at the same time, like, especially in California, you'd think maybe caring about real issues also matters, and maybe that's another way to victory in California. I could see if you're like, I don't know, in a state that's a little more moderate, for lack of a better term.
You're talking about a problem that's fundamentally way deeper than just this talk too. Just how like the whole system, even in the US, it's like everything is like sports now, right? So you need to be able to raise millions, if not tens of millions, hundreds of millions of dollars to be competitive. And in order to do that, you have to play this whole entertainment faction where it's like culture war, this, things you don't care about, things that aren't real. I mean, like, yeah, it sucks, but I can't see people getting elected without following maybe some of these strategies. That's the other.
The strategies have to be followed. I think that it's really sad that we're even having this conversation to say, like, hey, just go ahead and run off of what's popular right now, what's trending right now, because that's how people vote. If they see how, okay, this person is anti-Trump, I like them. I think this person is perfect. And then you have to get in and run off a policy. The sad part is they're lying. They usually lie. They've been lying, but they'll go in and run off these policies, add Trump to the top, but then have these other policies focusing on what's trending today. It could be a marginalized group. It could be education. It could be healthcare. It could be whatever. And then they do get into office and they don't do anything. They disappear, and then we just put them into office. And it's really sad that we don't have anything genuine. We can't really trust people, but we still got to vote because somebody has to be appointed to do something. So we kind of have to go in blindly these days. And that's what I think is problematic. It sucks that these are our times right now. It's so sad.
Yeah. I think that
the worse. Well, I was just going to say, it could be Ron DeSantis's campaign.
That's true.
The worst time he got.
might be the worst. Might be the worst primary campaign in history. Honestly,
I know, that's what I
really
was
one
thinking.
of the worst campaigns I've ever seen in my life. It never took off. It never.
So expensive.
He dropped once he announced. Immediately he dropped in polls once he announced his run.
That's
Like,
true.
It never recovered.
Remember how he
It just
announced
went
too,
down,
by
down,
the way,
down, down.
during the Twitter Spaces event.
That failed as well. Yeah.
He was problematic, but people loved him being problematic. And I remember, I'm from Florida, so when I used to go home, it'd be people holding up Trump signs, and then when they were like Ron DeSantis, it became DeSantis County, DeSantis Country. They had all. They
loved him.
They were campaigning for him before he knew how to do a real campaign, and then when he officially started campaigning, it was like, sir, the people were giving you more material. What are you giving us? Like this is, and then you show up and you're not giving the people anything. And the way that they were boosting you,
The woke mob.
Yeah.
It's all about the woke mob.
We gotta stop
it. He really had nothing.
Gotta stop the woke mob.
He did give us a lot of great memes.
Did you see that?
Smile that heals.
Did you see that video of the Good Liars guys? One of them went up to him during like the last stop on his campaign. And handed him a participation trophy.
I saw
that. And
that's great.
Wait, but the best part is DeSantis's wife was standing right next to him. And when the guy says, "I'd like to award you this participation trophy," she fucking laughs. She laughs. Imagine your wife standing right next to you.
That's so
in front of
embarrassing.
hundreds of people.
Yeah, that's so embarrassing.
Your presidential campaign, and a random guy, and the guy had a great delivery too, not nervous at all, was so confident in himself, and he goes up there and says, "Sir, we're awarding you with a participation trophy," and your wife laughs.
Maybe she laughed because she was so confident that he was going to win the election.
At your expense.
You knew what was going on.
How emasculating. And I'm not even someone who thinks that sort of thing ever. That's the first time I ever saw someone actually get emasculated.
Really, is it?
It was so bad. So bad.
Yeah, that was good. I was gonna say, the takeaway from like the Democratic thing, if you want to be a lefty and you want to win, there's certain things that you have to do. First and foremost, lefties who are running, you need to adopt the thumb point. Okay, if you make your fist like this and you point forward, that signals to the libs that you're a serious candidate. You also need to go full lib, wear like a blue wave T-shirt, put a blue wave emoji in your Twitter handle, just like go full with it, and then add "let me be clear" to every other sentence. Like adopt the cadence of a corporate Democrat and hide the ball a little bit. Don't say you're super progressive. Signal to us that you're progressive so we know to support you. But like, you've got to play the game. I think that's the takeaway.
At some point, though, it's got to break. At some point, millennials and Gen Z voters take over, and then no longer will those things.
Oh, did you
work.
Did you see that new poll
I've been
that
waiting
just came out?
for
The
that
woke
change.
mind virus won. There's now more LGBTQ plus Gen Zers than there are Republicans. They outnumber
There you go.
Republicans. Yeah, more queers than Republicans. So
It's starting.
yeah.
Well, hold on. Are they
Yeah.
considering them-
exactly.
but are they considering them to be two distinct groups? Because we do know that there are LGBTQ members of the Republican. So if they're not asking some of those, if they're just asking, "Are you LGBTQ?" and then they're just asking, "Are you Republican?" but they're not cross-referencing, then we might have a problem. It might be a flawed study.
Yeah, it depends.
How can you know anything about anything and be a Republican while being LGBTQ? Like I don't.
Well,
I don't understand.
They had a reckoning when that ad came out.
There's a log cabin Republicans.
It's not just online. It's the real life people.
Well, did you also see the Ron DeSantis commercial? The one that was like, "I'm way less gay than Donald Trump. Donald Trump is way more gay." Like Mike was in the ad. He was, and then
Right.
it was the biggest gay club anthem comes on. It's like womp 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 womp, and they show like all these hot dudes come on screen, and they're all like this and stuff. And like it was a really gay commercial.
Yeah,
it was all about how he was more gay.
I
and
forgot
I was like, this
that.
Is wild. Oh, it was amazing.
I forgot about
I'm so proud of you. I'm so proud of you for being.
Thank you. And it's funny because they played that ad, and I forgot it was the CNN anchor. She asked Pete Buttigieg about that ad, and they cut it off like right after my point. So it's like gayception. It's like, oh, I wonder if he knows who I am because I talked so much shit about him in 2020. I hate that motherfucker. This is so funny and awkward. It's good stuff.
I was also in one of his attack ads. I forgot about that.
Ole was too.
Yeah, that's right.
Yeah, she was quoted saying
that's how
DeSantis
online their campaign was. Yeah, that's right. Yeah, as like a benefit. Look, they're saying he's forged in hell. Isn't that awesome? Vote for him. Vote for Satan.
The ads were crazy.
Didn't work out.
There was an ad. Do you remember the? You were just talking. Were you just talking about the ad? I thought you were maybe talking about the one where they present Trump as being like an ally to the LGBT community.
Yes, yeah, that was the ad. And then all of a sudden, like this like EDM comes on, and
right.
And then all these clips from movies come on, and it's like a serial killer, like Alec Bateman, Christian Bale, or whatever, and then like another clip. But they're all universally accepted, like hot dudes, right? It's like here's all these hot men, like Ron DeSantis, he's sexy too. Listen to the techno, and they're just like, oh, this is so awesomely gay. I didn't know it was going to be that gay, right?
Is that the one? Is that the ad that ended with Ron DeSantis in the middle of the Sonenrad, or is that a different one? You guys
that was a totally different
one. In the middle of a
got fired for that one. No, you mean the Nazi ad? No, the Nazi ad was separate.
Yeah.
The Nazi ad was separate. Yeah, that one. That wasn't an official campaign.
I forgot about that one.
It was a staffer who retweeted it. Yeah, but
they paying so much for these ads. They're putting so much money into these ads, and then some people who are like, this is supported by such and such group for X, Y, and Z in the corner of who knows where. And it'd be like, who thought of these ads? And it's all for the campaigning. And it's like, y'all got to do better because these ads are crazy. I remember seeing some ad during 2020, because that's when it was real wild. Somebody was spraying poop everywhere. They were like,
oh right,
I can't remember who it was.
It was Boebert's. It was he was running against Boebert, I think. He was a Democrat, and he was an insufferable liberal.
Oh, that terrible guy.
I was so embarrassed. I'm like, no,
oh my God.
He was like, do you want to live in or whatever he was trying to do? And I said, and it was just like, you just see people walking down the streets getting sprayed with doo-doo.
Oh my God, I totally forgot about
that. It got your attention. You remember that ad years later.
I remember it. But I remember how I didn't remember what he was standing on. I just remember this is real terrible. This
was just yeah, he was tired of the bullshit and all this shit.
Yes,
but then also he was tired of the shit from the socialists and the lefties too. And I remember he put out this smug video where it's like baby's first cancellation, and he's like, "Oh, you all want to cancel me?" It was so insane. It's like, God damn! You're running against Boebert. All you have to do is zip your lips. The shit ad was funny, but
just be a name on a paper.
Just shut the fuck up, man.
Yeah, just show up.
It's so ridiculous. That was funny. There was this ad from 2020 where there was this lady. She had an AR-15, and she's like, "Look, I'd like to see Antifa come to my town." Psychotic. Then she got elected. Marjorie Greene.
Ah.
Yeah. Oh, look, you're like, there's this lady. Oh, yeah. Listen.
Marjorie Taylor Greene. Yeah.
She's a dirty foot, dragon, all of that. But she likes to look. She likes to be that type of person. She, and that's what I'm saying. These are the people that we're electing. 2020 was a time we were going through so much in this world, and at that time, people were just like, "There's a seat, elect somebody," and they were just throwing anybody they could. They thought because they would use TikTok influences or whatever at the time to make it pop. and make it cute, make it funny, make it interesting, make it memorable. But none of these people we know, and they would go really extreme because that was trending at that time, just being the most extreme person. And that's on both sides. Everybody was putting out extreme stuff instead of talking about true issues. Every commercial that I saw, every ad that I seen, it was just so extreme, and they weren't talking about anything. They wanted it to be colorful. They wanted it to be like, some people wanted it to be day to day. Some people wanted it to be like how, I say it's really embarrassing. Like when TikTokers, to me, I like to see the people do it, but I tried to do it and I was embarrassed for myself. Like do the get ready with me's, but you're starting like from the moment you wake up. So that means that you have to set your camera up and wake up out the bed. you set it up, go back into the bed, throw yourself out the bed. Like it's just all too much. But that's what they were giving us. They wanted to be relatable in that sense, but there was so much stuff to be relatable too, but they were just going for what's trendy. And that was what I think was very problematic. I remember these commercials because that man thought that if he uses curse words and if he is one of the, I remember this other guy, and I want to remember his name, and I want to say it's Isaiah. Out of Louisiana. He had a really good one, and he wanted to make marijuana legal.
Oh, Gary Chambers, is that the one?
I don't remember and it could be that. I don't remember, but it was nice. That was a good one because at that time we saw a lot of businesses monetizing off of marijuana, but people still serving time. So okay, that was great. He done roll one up for his commercials, sat in the middle of the country, rolled one up and was saying, why you need to vote for him or whatever the case may be. Those were memorable. Those were understandable. But I'm saying they were so focused on making things just trendy. And
I think it's because politicians understand, or candidates understand, that name recognition is like half the battle, at least half the battle. As long as people know that I exist, then there's a good chance that they may vote for me because they don't like the other person on the ballot. Like that. So it's just about, as long as they can get your attention and get your attention enough that you hear my name at the end of it, then maybe I'll get your attention and you'll vote for me, come election day. Because the old way wasn't working. Like talking about real issues sometimes doesn't really.
That's so crazy. That's what I'm trying to get to. Like the actual way to do it ain't working. Like we are in a microwavable time, and yes, it was Gary Chambers, Mike, but we're in a microwavable time. So we need to get like things because we all ADHD. So if you just talking about real issues, snoreboard, get out of here. We don't need that. We need to see colors flashing. We need it fast. What are you?
I like shiny things.
10 seconds. What can you tell me? How are you gonna That's it.
I want
it's
keys
so
jangled
true.
in front of me.
That's why on TikTok they're doing so well, because they have like somebody talking, and then that's on the top of the screen, and the bottom,
and then
somebody's
is it
cutting
cake
kinetic
being
sand.
cut?
Yeah. And I'm like, it doesn't matter what they're saying.
Game in the other
I'm watching. I'm stopping the scrolling, and I'm
Exactly.
watching. Like that's how our brains operate, right?
And now they're like that candidate got 1 million views, but I was watching because of the video you had underneath. Like you had something going on. I didn't even hear what you said.
Yeah, they've got the formula on TikTok perfectly. I know that Lance wanted to talk about the Oscars, but I think this is the perfect.
Hold on, we got some
segue.
breaking news here.
What's the breaking
Marianne
news?
Williamson has dropped out.
Oh no way!
Oh really?
Not shocked.
Oh wow! Damn.
That's not really surprising, I guess.
Yeah, I'm not surprised, but yeah,
I was being a little bit facetious with the breaking news, but it is something that just happened.
Oh wow!
Okay.
Oh, when did it happen? Did it happen today?
Just now, as we're on the air. Apparently she's on a Zoom call with her volunteers, and there's a big fight going on where they're begging her to stay in. And people I don't know why.
Not somebody having an inside.
Apparently some people are telling some very sad stories in the Zoom where they spent like 20% of their annual income on her campaign, which is oof.
Oh no.
Yeah.
Wow.
Oh, that's not.
I had her on my show, like in 2020, I believe. I had her on my show, and I'm just like, I don't know, Ben. I'm just not sure where this is going. Another person who went off, I think she was campaigning, and how she was riding the wave was through Christianity. At that time, the evangelical train was nice and going, and so she was riding that wave. And just hearing the points that she was hitting on, I'm just like, this ain't giving, again, it's not giving genuine, but it's giving trendy. It's giving trendy. So
kind of like that, like new age, like spiritual. Because I do remember that, and I was really, really turned off by that.
And she was having the conversation
initially.
with us, and she was going on each show. We're a Black show, like it or not. And and so she came on. We had conversations, and I'm just like, sweet lady, but I don't know if she really wants to do this. It's not giving me. It's just like, she had powerful points, but then after the show, I would see her online, and I would see lots of scandal, and I'm like, now, Marianne, like, what's going on, sis? And so I'm not surprised to see her drop out. These people know that they are
a lot of fuck ups.
They are, yes, and it was coming out crazy. I said, not the same lady that was on our show. It was her. She wanted to come on like a good Christian woman, and they got problems too. They got problems too. And when you run for president or anything like that, we're gonna find it. The world will find it. But you're saying, Matt, that the people who were working alongside her are now in a Zoom call, and they're dropping all the tea. And one of those are like they were spending most of their income on backing her.
But they're not complaining that they did that. They're complaining that she's dropping out.
Oh, so she's not looking out for them.
Like they believe that if she stays
it costs a lot of money to maintain a campaign, though.
Yes,
some people are
saying
really unaware of like how not likely it is that she will win. You know what I mean? Like it's depressing in a way where it's just.
It's not even just not likely. It's not going to happen.
I'm obviously obviously it's not going. There's zero chance.
I mean, I said this like I think I said this like a year ago when she was running.
Of course.
I think my exact reasoning was that she to be a candidate that even dares to go up against a incumbent, you need to have some sort of movement behind you, and she is not that person. She does not have a movement behind her. She doesn't have that sort of built-in a supporter base. People who flocked to her were basically looking for a third-party candidate who claimed to be the most progressive in the race. They weren't flocking to her because of anything other than that. She was like, just happened to be the person who was there.
Well, I like the idea of her candidacy and was supportive because I think that even if she's not going to win, I think primarying Biden is important just in terms of like messaging, like trying to get him to do better in certain regards. I think that does matter. To what extent doesn't matter, I'm not sure, but it's still good, right? The fact that she stepped up. I think that she's a great candidate on policy. I was
someone who actually threatens that, though. Like to be able to push somebody, you need to be a threat. Like, and not even necessarily a threat that you win, a threat that you can make the other candidate lose by pulling just enough support.
Which is hard to do against
something
an incumbent.
She was able to do, though. But I mean, I think there are people who could have done it, or previously, maybe in past years, could have done it. But she was not that.
Yeah, I was disappointed in her later campaign and stuff. Like I did an interview with her, and I think she did. She's really good at messaging, but she's not great at defending herself from really important things. Like there's a lot of allegations about staffers that she really dismissed, and you can't, like, when you're talking to lefties, and I tried to like bring this up in the interview in the context of like we're really concerned about worker rights, that employer-employee dynamic is very exploitative, so we're going to be hypersensitive to this. And I just don't think that she really took their concerns and our concerns seriously. And also when it comes to issues like Israel, she was better than Biden, but she was really defensive about her position when challenged. And she was pretty defensive in the interview with me, and I wish I pushed back more, but I was trying to talk about other issues, so I had to move on. But
you saw the bio really clip, good, right? The one she was being interviewed about that specific topic, and she kind of fucked up on what she was saying, and then it went viral. Then she had to like backtrack and be like, "Okay, I have been an advocate for Palestinian rights my entire life, so this is not representative of what I actually believe," and all that kind of stuff. Like that.
Right, I saw that. That was actually I saw that after I did my interview. It was like between going up, so I was like, "Oh God, I wish I really," because I really thought that she would be much better on Israel Palestine, and I had spent most of my time researching for that interview, prepared to push back on like worker rights. But yeah, I was really disappointed. Also, she was good on LGBTQ plus rights, but really didn't have a plan for addressing like these bans on gender affirming care for trans youth. And even was a little bit confused about the issue and thought that like kids were getting surgery. So I had to correct her on that. Didn't even expect to happen.
Really?
Yeah, in my interview. So I was actually really disappointed. I think she's a great candidate and she's good just if you give her the podium and let her speak. But the problem is that like when you challenge her ideas, good in terms of like messaging, right? Like
I think
she can
perhaps
Marcus
she's
Bernie really well, you know.
I think perhaps she's a nice, well-meaning lady, although apparently her past campaign staffers could apparently argue against that one. But I don't think she's a good candidate. I don't think she has good messaging. I don't think she's a good talker. All I remember from her 2020 campaign was her constantly after the debates in like reports and videos, she would like ask her staffers or supporters who were there, oh, should I, because on stage she did not agree with Medicare for all, for example, but then afterwards, because of the great reaction Bernie got, she went viral in like a video for saying to her staffers, should I agree with Bernie Sanders on Medicare for all? Okay, you got it. I'm for Medicare for all. That's not someone who's got a strong like feeling about something. That's not someone who's a good talker. That's not someone who has the conviction, the strength of their convictions. I mean, she's never was that person. I'm sorry, Mike.
There were some really weird moments during that campaign.
Yeah, I think you're confusing that you personally think she's a nice person, like a nice.
Well,
lady.
no. What I mean is, I think she's good at like,
hey, ladies,
speaking about policy. You know what I mean? Like, if you listen to her, she talks about like an economic bill of rights. I think that's good messaging. Like, if you adopt that messaging as a Democrat, I think it would resonate with like the left. But in terms of like a good candidate, I wouldn't necessarily say good candidate in terms of like running a good campaign. I don't know. I'm not like behind the scenes, but like, I think that like what she says when she talks about policy, it's great. But if you challenge her, it kind of falls apart and she gets defensive, which is a problem because you want somebody who's going to be really open and receptive to feedback, especially on the left, especially if there's some sensitive issues and you're not addressing, you know, so that's kind of my.
I think there's a difference between being open to feedback and then so abruptly changing course because it seems like the popular or more helpful thing for the campaign to do. I mean, I don't know if you go on the debate stage and that night backstage you change your mind. And that's like a legitimate change of heart over. And that doesn't seem. But regardless of that. One tell for me was, you know, if your whole campaign is that you're the progressive candidate and you don't immediately grab all the attention when what happens in Gaza was happening by being on the absolute right side and being a staunch supporter of the Palestinian people, which she didn't at first.
Cornell did. Then you're that was a big difference between the two of them.
Like she didn't, she could, that could have been, I'm not saying this would have made her win or even get close to winning, but she could have certainly had a big moment online at least and had a sort of resurgence maybe in the media coverage of the race if she had come out as like the pro-Palestine candidate, and she just didn't deliver there either. And that's when I knew like she's not even taking, she doesn't even have the political wherewithal to take advantage of this moment as the so-called progressive candidate. Then I mean, it's just dead in the water to begin with, even more deader than it was before this.
Yeah, it was never a strong campaign.
Never strong.
I mean, I'm sure I'm sounding like a Marianne Williamson hater, but personal. It's just
like Biden so much. That's why you just love Joe Biden. So
Hive is going to come after you.
You got to have Joe Biden. Bender loves Joe Biden. That's all this is about.
We all said she was sweet. She was kind. She just didn't have what it took. And you over here like she's trash. Nothing is good.
Garbage have Joe Biden.
Cabbage.
I mean, honestly, I don't even think about her enough to be a hater. I mean, I'm just talking facts here, talking the obvious here. I mean, she got like 5,000 votes in a rando who had no constituency. Like, I mean, he's a congressperson, fine, but had no presidential election sort of supporter base until like last month. Dean Phillips destroyed her. It's ridiculous that he got 20% of the vote and she got like, what was it? Like, I don't even know how much, 2%, 3%. I mean, come on.
I wonder what the money.
She was in the race for so much longer than him too. She was in the race for like, she was one of the first people to throw her hat in the ring.
I have to imagine Dean Phillips spent a lot of money there, more than Marianne did. Otherwise it makes no sense at all.
Marianne was going to
be
be. Marianne was a woman, is a woman as well, and so I know she was already at the bottom. She would have had to work 10 times as harder, but she just didn't have what it took. To me, I don't think that it was anything that she could do to make me believe that she.
I think what it would take though was just lots of fucking money. Like that's kind of what
that's
it
true
takes
too.
in all these races, like especially a primary.
Always.
I don't even. I totally know what you're saying, Rebecca, but I don't. She didn't even get to the point where you can factor in misogyny as a factor in her. I mean, she didn't even get there. She didn't even get there.
Matt is just like, no, Rebecca, nice try. She was garbage. Let's just put it there. I didn't do it.
I mean, to say Marianne lost because one of the factors, what she's a woman, is the equivalent right now to the Oscars people saying that
it started off hard for her. That's all I was saying, baby. It was.
Speaking of the Oscars, I'm dying to share
this
with you all, which you all saw. I know Lance wants to talk about the Oscars, but I want to share this.
All right. I also wanted to talk about the Charlie Kirk shit, but yeah,
I want to talk about it too.
This is also terrible mind.
Yeah. So I love this, honestly. I love Hillary Clinton so much. So she says, Greta and Margaret, well, it can sting to win the box office, but not take home the gold. Your millions of fans love you. You're both so much more than enough. Hashtag Hillary Barbie. And then I just love you see Ken Klippenstein's comment. Margaret really should have visited Wisconsin.
It's Margot, right?
Oh, maybe. I'm not sure.
Margaret Robbie, I think.
Is it Margot or Margaret?
It's giving Margot.
I don't follow these fucking people. I think it's Margot though.
Oh, okay.
Whatever her name is. It's very clear that she did not get that's true, but it's pretty clear that she did not get a nomination because of all the
you're
other
right,
men
David,
who got nominated as Best Actress in the Oscars. I mean, what is this argument? I get the Greta one. Okay, not a single woman director got nominated. I get that one. That, and obviously a lot of males. That's a fair. I think you got to separate that one from the Margot Robbie one, because Margot Robbie lost or didn't get nominated because 5 other women, and some of them being women of color, got nominated. So I mean, the idea that you're going to play the patriarchy game with Margot Robbie not getting Best Actress is ridiculous. And
but the hashtag Hillary Barbie, we have to admit, that is so good. I wish Hillary was my Gamget.
I would never play. I would never play with the Clinton Barbie. I wouldn't. I would never even touch it. Now, my thing is, I really understand though. Like, I don't see how a movie that was made about this exact thing. Like this is the point that everybody's making. Like women, the whole thing. Barbie was about how women are not seen and men are seen, and then yada yada yada. And Ken had that struggle, right? Opposite in the movie. The movie was literally about Barbie. For her to not have a nomination is wild. For the woman who played Barbie not to have a nomination is crazy. But for Ken, and I think that Ken had a strong little character. You know, they wouldn't need to do held it down.
Certainly was strong.
But and I loved it. But I don't know. I understand the frustration here, and I think the point that they're trying to make is that, you know, how is this movie about women rights, women equality, justice for women type of thing? And here you go, a man. Just go. This is Barbie, and Ken gets nominated.
But these are. I'm gonna be a hater again, I guess.
Here you go. Just go ahead as well,
Matt.
But it's your night to hate.
But these are separate categories. There was 5 women who the Academy thought were better actresses than Margot Robbie, or had better roles or better performances, I should say.
That's Ken's
than Margot
fault.
Robbie and Barbie. Whereas there were only 4 other guys who were on par. So. What's his face? Ken, who played Ken, he fits in with the. I mean, America. Ryan Gosling. America Ferrera got nominated for her role in Barbie, a supporting actress.
Lived for it, but I think Barbie herself was really good and should have been nominated. For
There were 5 actresses who were in roles that were better, according to the Academy.
I think Matt, you're right on point on the fact that if you actually look at the stats, only 3 women have ever won Best Director in the history of the Academy Awards ever, and I think that's out of what, maybe 8 nominations. Like it's not good. Women are not represented, and there was also the director of Past Lives, who is a woman of color, who should have been nominated for Past Lives. It was one of the best direction dobs of the year. If you're someone who follows film, that was an actual robbery. And the last part I'm going to say is that this, again, I think is the problem sometimes with white feminism, because there's been a lot of times in the Academy Awards when it's been like someone's been looked over. That was way more of the discourse I saw than Lily Gladstone getting nominated, who is, again, the first Indigenous person
This should
to
be
ever
huge.
be nominated
First North
in
American
that category.
First North
Best
American.
actress.
First North American Indigenous
First North
person.
American, yeah.
But we can talk about both of those things. We can celebrate.
You absolutely can. And I liked Barbie, and I loved Ken for more than one reason. But like I thought it was fun. The whole thing, awesome, great fun movie. But also, if you were looking at the time at Indigenous Twitter and at the discourse amongst Indigenous communities, the 2 racist jokes towards Indigenous people in the film, right? Like it was kind of just very random for a movie that's supposed to be so much about feminism, making people aware of the patriarchy, how it works, how different structures and vectors of oppression can work and stuff like that. And then the butt end of 2 of the jokes in it were about Indigenous genocide, just like very casually just thrown in there, and you don't even think about it. It's one of those things where there is multiple things that are true at once. I was never a Barbie hater, but I think like if that's where the discourse is going to be focused, it's kind of ridiculous, because I've seen so many people online just get so angry about the fact that Margot Robbie wasn't personally like nominated for this role.
She was a producer on Barbie. They may have made the calculation that we have 5 actresses. So she could. So if Barbie wins,
she gets a nomination for Best Picture. Yeah, she
yes.
wins the Academy
So
Award
they
there.
probably that's also a possibility that the Academy made that calculation. I mean, she's a huge movie star. They certainly think of these sorts of things for people of that stature. Oh, let's give it to 5 actresses who this is their only chance to get nominated, and we'll give Margot Robbie the Best Movie nomination.
With those snubs, I think, it's great to, bring out the snubs because it talks about these different issues, but it's also great to celebrate, like you said, the people who deserve to be celebrated, who don't get these opportunities. So highlighting big wins, breaking the ceiling type of thing. Like, what's her name? Fantasia, out of The Color Purple. She didn't get a nom, and they were saying that she had a really big role. However, Danny B, who played Sophia in the same movie, did really amazing in that movie, and she got a nomination. So a lot of people, there are places where the discussion can be had about who wasn't nominated. That's natural with us. But I think with the point that we're trying to make with the Barbie, that I do think can be, people will drag it. You know what I'm saying? When there were other things that we could celebrate. But the fact that, okay, what Barbie was about, it gave that example, Ken being nominated, but the points that you guys are making are also valid. But I think we can talk about these things without it being just focused on, we have to focus on the fact that she wasn't nominated. So now we need to
It gets a bigger microphone.
Not watch.
Right?
Yeah.
More, a lot more of the movie world
and
on all the ET and all the discussions. Like, can you believe that Margot Robbie was robbed? Like, that's where a lot of the focus always is, right?
And we can talk about it and move on to and praise the people who were actually deserved, because we don't want to like wash out the fact that, people who will never get these opportunities actually are in these spaces. Let's praise them at the same time. Like, this is where the Oscars got it right. And I think that, we can have those conversations as well.
I think the question to ask people who are so upset that Margot Robbie apparently got robbed is, okay, which of the 5 best actress nominees do we bump to give Margot Robbie the spot? Which one do we throw out? Oh, go ahead. Oh, yeah, there you go. There you go. Right.
You're just winning debates against imaginary.
There you go. Which woman do you throw out of the best?
You should
actress?
reply to Hillary Clinton. That's a good reply to Hillary Clinton.
Yeah.
Which one do you knock? Do you knock Lily Gladstone out? Who needs a Native American, right? Do we knock out Annette Bening? What is she, too old now? She's too old to win an Oscar.
Maybe they just don't want Ken to be nominated. That way, it's level.
Yeah.
No one's nominated. There
where's
you go.
the outrage? Anya Taylor-Joy portrayed Princess Peach in the Mario movie. Did she get any recognition for that?
I never even seen that movie. Was it good?
No, but it was
Oscar worthy.
Like
it wasn't
enjoyable.
Oscar worthy.
It was enjoyable.
It was.
I wouldn't say it's Oscar worthy. It was enjoyable.
I mean,
fun.
yeah. It was good. Chris Pratt did not do too great as Mario, but it wasn't as bad as I thought.
Hey, I'm a Mario over here.
I
didn't hear much about it.
Joyzy.
Dang, I run that back.
The problem with people's reaction to these award shows is that they think a lot of people still seem to think that like the award should be given to the most popular or the movie that brought in the most money or the most successful movie, and that's just not what the Academy Awards of all awards.
That's called the
shows
Grammys, okay?
That's what you stole my joke, man. You stole my. That's what I was going to say. I've actually been saying that nonstop.
Which also, by the way, isn't even true because The Weeknd was snubbed a few years ago for his album, and his album sold
the worst of all time.
There's been a few massive snubs from the Grammys. Like, oh, Matt froze now. He froze while he's speaking.
Grammy shut down. No discourse there. Yeah, too much.
He's paused in thought. I think maybe he's not.
YouTube said enough.
Oh, there I'm back. I don't know what's going on.
But it's not a meritocracy. It's just a whole bunch of rich people giving each other gold. That's what these award shows are. True. That's why like most people have like checked out of them. It's nice when it's like like Rebecca was saying, this breaks the glass ceiling. It's good. This is good to have representation. It's good that like when Lily Gladstone won for the Golden Globe, that she said to little res kids living in all over Canada and the United States, hey, by the way, dream big, you too can achieve this. Like that's nice, right? We can all pat ourselves on the back and be like, this is progress, kind of, right? But like for the most part, it's just a wank fest. They're all wank fests. They're just circle jerking wank fests. That's all award shows are.
Which begs the question, I mean, we could just do our own award show for our own categories. Why don't we? We could do a circle jerk, right? We do it all the time on the show.
That's
like, we should have our own awards with leftist content creators, right?
It's an echo chamber.
Yeah. I think that would be great.
Make people feel included. And people
should hand out 5 awards. And
so the 5
just so happens each of us win
every year.
And it goes to the people on here.
Actually, if we want the attention, if we want to get people really talking about, if we want people really talking about this show, we announced the nominees for the best leftist mafia member as David Dole, Mike Figueredo, Lance of the Serfs, and Matt Binder, and those are the 4.
We didn't name Rebecca. It's just
per year.
We'll get a lot of attention.
Hillary Clinton may tweet about it, so it might be worth it just for that.
Didn't even mention my
Hillary
name.
Mafia. Hashtag Hillary Mafia.
That's terrible. That's really terrible. I don't want to deal with it.
So I did have the Charlie Kirk clip queued up.
Everyone's canceling us in the chats. Fair dues. We deserve to be canceled.
Yes,
we deserve to be canceled.
Cancel them now.
We
do it.
Binder's idea. I didn't do shit.
And I'm not. They know why to cancel because they. You know what I'm saying? It's not inclusive over here.
The whole point is to be canceled, though. That's the whole point. To be canceled so you get recognized.
Yes, and that will.
I'm already picturing the Hillary tweet. I'm really, dear Rebecca, dearest Rebecca.
I don't like Hillary, so she better not ever tweet me. Look, I'm gonna be like, girl, no, not even.
Okay. Did you all see this Charlie Kirk clip?
Oh God.
Yeah. I don't know if I want to give any setup to it. It's so wild. So trigger warning. There is not to spoil it, but there is racism in this. But not because of Charlie Kirk. This is the left's fault. So they'll explain why.
And that's why I think this United story and the DEI story hits so hard, because we've all been in the back of a plane when the turbulence hits, or when you're flying through a storm and you're like, I'm so glad I saw the guy with the right stuff and the square jaw get into the cockpit before we took off. And I feel better now.
No, I mean, like, you want to go thought crime? Like, I'm sorry. If I see a black pilot, I'm going to be like, boy, I hope he's qualified.
Well, that's the you wouldn't have done that. You wouldn't have. You wouldn't have done that before.
That's not an immediate.
No, you wouldn't have done that before.
Who I am.
Press pause for a second.
What I believe.
It is the reality the left has.
Wait, there we go.
Go back though to the one with it all on the screen. Look at these 4 fucking winners. Look at these. Look at these 4 guys talking about. Look at these guys talking about. I want the pilot with the square jaw, and look at these guys. Look at this guy. Look at these 4 guys. Give me a break.
I can't.
There's just a bunch of fucking clowns, man. Like Charlie Kirk, I think he just wants the attention. He knows. Like Charlie Kirk's one of these guys where he's very aware of his propaganda. I don't think he's an idiot. Like I saw him debate Sam Cedar. He know when he needs to be prepared. He gets prepared. He gets himself prepared. Like he's very aware of what he is, his role in society, what he's doing. It's hard to be surprised anymore. Like the only part that surprises me is go back like I don't know 8 years ago. Imagine that was said. Like the reaction would have been much larger. We would have seen a lot more people cover it. Charlie Kirk would be like blacklisted everywhere. But now it's just very normal to hear someone like that spread some obvious racist bullshit to a massive media platform.
So
like
what's the thing about the chin? Because I'm really trying to understand. What is this? Why are they looking for a pilot with a square chin? Why is this a
They're all closeted? I don't fucking know.
Yeah, well, so in a different clip, Jack Posobiec, who is the white supremacist in that, not that they're all not, but he's probably like the most like closest to being a Nazi. He said that he wants like a Chad to be his pilot, like a Chad with a Southern accent, possibly. So that's what
he wants.
Criteria
he wants
that
to be
he's
his pilot in more ways than one.
So what's a Chad? No, y'all got to break this down to me. It sounds quite white.
It's like buff dude, like works out, looks strong.
Oh, they call them a Chad?
You know.
Wow, I didn't know that. So like a guy that works out, looks good,
alpha, the alpha male they're so obsessed with. That's
the strong
jaw. That's what it was.
Right.
Yeah,
that's kind of weird. I don't know, like
that is weird, right? Yeah,
it's very homoerotic.
Their obsession with it too.
Yeah.
And the idea that any of that has the idea that any of that has to do with flying an airplane.
Yeah.
Yeah.
it's nothing to do with that. That's why I go to there's something else going on. Like with this guy's mind. Why else is he so obsessed with having a Chad fly his plane?
And it's funny because when they had these conversations, usually, like you said, people would question it. Or nowadays, they can have these conversations out in the full. Be a part of a group of people who are anti-LGBTQIA+, but they can sit here and have these type of conversations. And I don't know what they go for, what they're doing, but to fawn over what they want their pilot to look like, which I don't even understand what this conversation, why it was being had. Why do you need your pilot to? I don't know, but it gives questionable, suspicious.
Yeah.
So
it's all about feeling safe, right? So if they have this big protective Chad, this muscle daddy, then it's like,
and thank you for teaching me what a Chad was. Because that's funny. I'm
surprised you've gone like this long and just
never. You see, I told you we live in two different worlds. There are terms that I really never heard in my life.
I feel like
I don't.
You live in a better media world than I do then, because I see this bullshit all the fucking time.
Yeah, I mean it's a white world and it's a black. I be on Black Twitter. There's a lot of words that I'm still learning today, but the other words you guys taught me, I don't remember what that was. I don't even think we should bring it back. But then the Chad.
I don't think we should bring that one back.
Yeah, I don't remember what that word.
We're like that song in Disney's Tarzan. 2 worlds, 1 family.
Exactly.
I think it's when I stopped watching Disney.
Gotta love Phil Collins.
Tarzan came out.
I love Phil Collins.
Yeah, my mom bought me that CD when I was a kid. I think she got it for me for Christmas, and I was bumping it hard.
Phil Collins is great.
Look, you were bumping it hard.
She got
millennial terminology.
That's true. That is true. I'm showing my age.
Why did millennials
she got
say
me a
bumping
CD
it
player. She got me a CD player, and she got me the Inspector Gadget soundtrack, and then I also had and from the movie Inspector Gadget with I forgot the actor's name.
Matthew Broderick.
Yeah, Matthew Broderick.
I dated someone that was her great cousin, Matthew Broderick.
Oh, look at you.
Oh, really?
It's a random.
I thought you were gonna say you dated someone that looked like Matthew Broderick.
No.
I'm like, really?
Random celeb connection. Never met him though.
That's funny. That's so funny. Yeah. It's this clip is so wild to me because they're using DEI as like this get out of jail free racism card, where they could say the most racist shit imaginable, and so long as they say no, I'm talking in terms of DEI, then it's fine. Apparently, you would think that, like as David was saying, like 8 years ago, like people would want to distance themselves from this. But like I have a video tomorrow about how the conservatives are all like jumping over themselves to defend Charlie Kirk and say this is not racist. And it's like, there's even comments like, can you imagine people are saying that that's racist? It's like, okay, if he is literally, if he's literally saying, when I see a black pilot, I think, I wonder if he's qualified. The fact that you have this suspicion about black people in particular,
strange.
You can't just say DEI. Like, it says something about your own psychology here, and they don't realize that. They just think, no, I'm talking about DEI. See, it's not that he's black in particular. It's not the race that's the issue. It's that, well, is he here because, affirmative action, essentially, which is what they think DEI is. It's so wild to me. Like, the dog whistle is gone. Like, it's just straight up, like, pure racism. Like, they're not trying to hide it. And even though they're not trying to hide it, they're all like, no, he's not racist. Like, this is so fucking Orwellian to me to see the way that they try to gaslight people. Like, if that's not racism, then what is to them, right? Like, fuck.
They know.
Yeah.
They know. That's why it is gaslighting, because they know they're full of shit. Like, it's
But
they're playing to an audience. They're playing to an audience.
Yeah.
Also, the stats fly in the face of, like, obviously it's racist, but let's even put that aside for a second. The stats fly in the face of whatever they believe. There has not been a major airline accident, 0 fatalities in the United States since 2009. If you can believe it. And the airlines have only gotten more and more diverse with their hiring since then. Like, over the years.
Yeah, but
so
Boeing's a piece of shit company, so.
The idea that, but they're not just talking,
though.
they're not focusing on Boeing.
Oh, of course.
They're going after
of course not. Yes.
American
They're making it about
Airlines,
something else.
Southwest Airlines.
It's because
both those companies posted photos of, like, their all women crew, and then another posted a photo of, like, their black crew.
That's
whatever,
the argument they're
and
making.
They had to,
is
like,
they're
delete
spending too
them
much
because of all
on
the hate.
diversity. They're spending too much on diversity. That's why they can't, bolt these planes properly. Like the issue is corporate profits. The issue is that, there's been apparently a lot of planes with missing bolts. It's like a normal thing now. Like, I'm seeing a storm. Like, Jesus Christ, this is why I hate flying. Like, no.
Yeah. It's so much easier to scapegoat, like, people of color and black people than to say, well, these companies are cutting corners to save a few bucks. Nope, everything that goes wrong is
so
because
they're going to hire a
diversity.
black pilot so they can save $1. Oh my God. They're going to hire a black pilot so that, we can just make sure that, we're helping the economy. But with your black pilot, it might be a little shaky in the air. It might be a couple bolts.
That's what they're trying to argue.
Your luggage may not make it. Sounds like Spirit Airlines, but and that's what you get with the black pilot. So let my pilot be strong and white. Let him be strong and white, nice strong jaw, and I know he's gonna get me to where I need to go. We don't want a Greyhound in the sky, but we want to make sure we have a luxury, okay, when we are in the sky. So give us that strong Chad, like you guys said, with the nice jaw, and I know he can get us to where we got to go. Not that he actually is qualified, but if he just looks the part for them, then it'll make sense.
If he makes me feel safe, if he could pick me up, without struggling.
If he can really control me and
we don't
handle
even
me.
know. We don't want that. And though God forbid this person look Middle Eastern, is given terrorists. We don't want none of it. Let them be white because white is right. See, that's what it's giving. And that's problematic.
And not a woman. I was listening to the Quartering who was talking about this, and he was saying, of course, Charlie Kirk is not racist for saying this. But then he's like, and really we could extend this to women too. But my wife is a pilot and she's competent. It's like, oh wow, so you should also extend that skepticism to women, but you have a wife pilot, but I'm sure she's thrilled to hear you say that. I mean, it's so wild to me. And what's funny is that, like, if they were really trying to base this off of something, the one stretch that you can make would be, okay, well, you know what? Men compared to women are colorblind statistically more, right? Now, they don't make that jump because, of course, it's absurd. In order to become a pilot, you have to undergo training. You need to have 20/20 vision. You can't be colorblind. You have to put in 1,500 hours of flight time. You have to fly at night. You have to fly cross country. So they know, though, that, like, oh, okay, well, colorblind isn't an issue. It's just, apparently people of color don't have to meet those qualifications. It's so fucking wild.
My pilot need to be able to see, but that's not important. Just give them, I need my pilot to have muscles and strong jaw, okay? And we're good to go. It's terrible. concerning.
Yeah, it's so ridiculous. I'm so sick of it's just this cowardice, right? Like they will, when it comes to any issue, they'll beat around the bush and they'll come as close to the line as they can get, and they'll cross the line sometimes, but they will never admit that what they're saying is like racist or homophobic, right? Like the quartering, he'll, concern troll about anytime there's like a fucking gay couple that has a baby or like through surrogacy, he'll sound the alarm about that, but he won't just say, I just don't think gay people should be around kids. Like, just say it, you pussy. Just like say it with your full chest. You're so close already. Like Charlie Kirk is just saying, yes, when I see a black pilot, I have these thoughts in my head. And it's because of the left, because they push diversity, not because I'm racist, but just say it. You're this close. I mean, the mask is already off. Why hide? You could just go that extra step, It's so ridiculous to me.
Did you guys already look up or mention the actual requirements to be a FAA licensed pilot in the US? Because I looked it up, and if you want to be an airline transport pilot, aka the one that they're talking about, is in like, oh, I'm kind of worried about the race of my pilot style racism. It takes 1,500 hours of logged flight hours before you can take the ATP CTP exam. That's in addition to the knowledge test, the practical exams, of which there are plenty along the way. That's what you got to do. There's no one becomes a pilot as a vibe. No one's just like, oh, I want to do this. And then like in the interview, they're like, oh, well, I'm sorry, but you're a little too white, sir. We were actually looking for some non-whites this time. That doesn't happen. Like this, of all the examples, is got to be one of the most demonstrably just like the weirdest racist hill to die on. You can just like, no, this is not a thing. You're making this up.
The conversation is dumb. Why did they get here? Why was it a thing? But it just shows the how racist they can be. There is no point of where are the examples of having a white pilot that has a strong jaw versus a black pilot or a person of color, like how they fly you is different, your experience is different. Like where is that? Because having that conversation is ridiculous. It just literally shows more of, no matter how they try to phrase it, no matter how they try to pat it, and it's already it's in America especially, they're marginalized groups as pilots. To have a pilot of color or a black pilot, it's that they're not many. So every time somebody makes that, like having a black pilot is a big thing. So your experience probably will be top tier if you have a black pilot or black flight attendants or whatever. But you just I don't understand how that makes a difference, but here we are having that conversation because it's all wrapped up in racism. And that's what that is. There's just a whole bunch of racists. Matt made us look at them all in their whiteness. And it was just so white and unnecessary for conversation. I'm sick of it.
Yeah. I love how they've been using this excuse. Like it's just that DEI is a new CRT. That's all that's happening here.
Yeah.
They're trying to do a little sleight of hand, but it's the exact same tricks, right? But to be like, I'm worried about the skin color being a factor. And I was like, okay, you want to hear a job where I think you might have trouble getting the job if you have white skin? If you have to portray a black man in a TV show, maybe that's something you could say. You might have difficulty becoming like the starring role, as Malcolm X if you happen to be like a white person. Fair enough, that could be affecting your job. For a fucking pilot, like, do you know the amount of work you need to do to get in the fucking room to sit there in front of a fucking company, an airline company that are going to be like, yeah, we're willing to give you this job. Like 1,500 hours. That's not like, it's like you are really dedicating yourself to this,
You gotta train. You gotta, and I know that in 2020 they were looking for pilots like nobody's business. People were on strike. People weren't doing it. I remember it was a whole thing. They were like, look, just go ahead and get your license. We'll put you in the sky. It was very bumpy times, but at the end of the day, and most of them pilots I knew with my bumpy rides was all white, but that doesn't make any sense. I just want to get to where I want my pilot to be trained. I want to make sure I feel safe on my flight. I want to get to where I'm going. Just because my pilot is black, don't put out that rhetoric that it's going to be you're going to feel unsafe, or because my pilot may look, because sometimes they don't even be Middle Eastern and I'm just going to be, or Hispanic or whatever. Like, no, you just make sure your pilot is qualified, okay? And get on your flight and go. That's it.
Yeah. They actually have this, and not to be like overly reductive, but I genuinely think they unironically believe this. They think that like, okay, corporate is, they have two candidates in front of them. One is this white, overly qualified guy. He's gotten all the certifications, and then the other person on the resume it just says, I logged 150 hours on Microsoft Flight Simulator, and I happen to be a person of color. They're like, well, we're gonna have to go with that person. Unfortunately,
we have no choice. Our hands are tied. You know,
it's probably even worse. Honestly, they probably envision like a whole line of 100 like white pilots standing outside. All flying.
The jawline's incredible.
Right, and they're all got the jawline right, and the DII guy is in there going like, "Bring me some black people." Like, I don't want this. Like,
no diversity.
It's so comical. Like, I feel like to say that this kind of thinking is like what the racism that you see of like an elementary schooler is almost too like it's just so much dumber than that. Like, it's so ridiculous. And these people like Charlie Kirk, he is an influence peddler on the right. He has so much power and influence. Like, there are so many conservative politicians that attend his events and whatnot.
But they're all agreeing. You know how we keep talking about how the mask keeps slipping? Like, they keep getting away with, like, great replacement theory used to be on Stormfront. It used to be an anti-Semitic conspiracy theory that only Lawrence Southerns would talk about. Now everyone says, like, it's been normalized. Same thing with this. Like, Matt Walsh was making an entire segment on how Charlie Kirk was right and not racist at all. The Quartery made a video on how Charlie Kirk is right and not racist at all. Like, you could just see the whole right-wing media apparatus is like, oh, we're a little further, like, we're getting closer to white people being able to say the N-word, essentially. Like, we're normalizing this racism. We're normalizing this racism. This isn't too racist anymore. This is normal now. And like, it's fucked up to watch it, just happening in real time.
Yeah, they're yanking the like overchin window in regard to like what you can say so far to the right that like they all, I mean, I was gonna say they all sound like white supremacists, but I mean, like, if it quacks like a duck, like they're all just fucking white supremacists.
They are. I mean, there's nothing to them, and they're not this. You can look at them and see they gotta look. Okay, I hate to say it. You know what I'm saying? Don't judge this last cover. They gotta look.
They saying the master race isn't like the superior.
The bloodline. They rock. But they can sit there, have these microphones, and like you said, we're getting closer. They're moving the goalposts every second, every year, to say, but that's black. And that's just, I mean, we're going back in time. They want us to really go back in time. And so it's like, but that's black, to make it derogatory. You got a black pilot, derogatory. Like, your pilot ain't white, it ain't right. So keep on. And then they're going to just say, but that's an NIGG hard ER. And they're going to be able to say that. And it's going to be just fine on these podcasts. They're going to be able to sit there and say it.
That's what they're working towards. That's
and white people, they're going to be like, well, black people say, and black people, that's going to be their
It's in music. It's in all the songs.
Oh, yeah.
How am I supposed to sing along?
What am I supposed to do? Not say it when I'm rapping the song? Yeah, that's what you're supposed to do. Not say it. There are a lot of times. I remember when I had to listen to Disney, what was it? Radio Disney when I was a kid, because I couldn't say the cuss words and I couldn't say some of the sexual innuendos. I had to get the remix. So go find the remix and be all right with your life. Like, we can't make those excuses, but they are moving towards being able to say racist. They already say racist things, like this stupid conversation about having a white freaking pilot with a strong jaw. Just we'll talk about his features and but we just want him to be white is what they're essentially saying. And that makes our flight feel safer
and handsome.
But that they're moving towards what I'm telling you, they're gonna get to a place where they can say, I was afraid. We already have a lot of our podcasts, the most popular podcasters who are white. Who can sit down and say, I didn't feel safe. I'm gonna be honest, I went to a black neighborhood and I didn't feel safe. Boom. They can say those things, and those are trending conversations, and then they get put onto major platforms like Spotify and get $1 million deals.
Yeah, and before there was at least like, I mean, for the most part, like they can say it, they just don't want there to be repercussions, and like the accountability is going away. Like on Twitter, there's nothing stopping them from saying it. Like when Nazis returned, they were saying it, right? And now you could basically say it. And also the worst part is that they're incentivized to say it, because the more outrageous things you say, the more attention that you get. Like there's this, I don't remember the name of this girl. She's like a gaming anti-SJW person. And she said, she posted a video of herself to Twitter saying the F slur, when a couple of years ago, this other YouTuber, Review Tech USA, he found tweets of hers talking about anti-gay bigotry and how she was against it. It's like, I don't know if she believes what she's saying, but now there's that incentive. Everybody talks about her if she says this slur. If you say outrageous shit, you get the views and the clicks. I mean, we see how it pays off for so many people. So now it's like, if they get closer to saying the most outrageously racist things imaginable, then they can be more honest with themselves and just say what they want and also get, clout for it and internet points. Like, it's win-win to them, right? So that's kind of where we're at.
They want to use the excuse too, because right now we're also in a time where what is right? It got to be white. No, but now we're in a time where it's like basically sensitive, right? If somebody says, well, I didn't like that you said that, and then somebody else is going to go, well, free speech. I mean, I think that we all should be able to be ourselves and have these conversations. And I don't want to be judged about it. Can I just be not judged about it? This is just how I feel. And we're in that space right now. And I just be like, no, y'all could really, we went through that time. It didn't work. And so now we need to know this is right and this is wrong. That's where we need to be at. I don't care what y'all saying, and I'm gonna judge you, and that's all right too. Like, if we're sitting here and just saying, I don't want to judge this person because that's their feelings about it, and no, that was wrong. I'm not gonna be in that circle. I'm not gonna watch your content, but I'm gonna be the person to say that was wrong. I'm not gonna be like, you know what, but that was their, that's their page. That's just, no, they went viral. And that misinformation, that problematic rhetoric went to millions of people. And now they're outside.
It normalizes it.
And now it's dangerous.
And now
that's why it's important. Like, that's why I talked about how, ever since Trump began to run in 2015, like, he opened up this not ability, but he made it easier for people who were really racist to come out and just be racist. And culture is a big piece of what was sort of pushing back on that and getting people educated. And when you have all these people, we're being inundated with like the most racist shit from massive platforms. That helps to normalize it and allow it to continue to fester. And we saw a massive rise in hate crimes since 2016, and that's continued because this kind of, this door has sort of been opened. So yeah, it's, as you said, it's very important, I think, for us to push back on that garbage.
Yep.
Yeah.
Just to
sounds like a microaggression.
It is.
Yes. I got to bring this clip up as we wind down near 10:30. I'm getting tired, guys. I can't help it. But
what else is new?
Exactly. What else is new? Hey, but here I am bringing up a new topic to discuss because this is very weird, and I need an explanation. Watch Trudeau clapping. So this is a women's hockey. I don't know what's happening here. What's going on here? And this is not sped up. It's just him.
What?
I've seen so many good lines about this too. Like he's got that infomercial speed, and what was
he's trying to create
the universe.
Look how intense he gets. It's not even excitement; it's just like intense clapping.
Yeah,
never
it was
seen.
really exciting. Like
he reaches like a new level.
He's
I didn't even clap that fast.
It's giving me. He's on something. It's helping that speed.
Oh, I see that, Rebecca.
How is his clapping even disingenuous? Like, he comes off as a disingenuous person, like, normally when he's speaking, but his clapping is even disingenuous. It's amazing that he's able to even fake his clapping. Like,
it's so fast.
I've never seen this.
No, it's so fast. It does look like it's sped up, and that lets me know something's going on there, allegedly. And that's my thoughts and my
I've
thoughts
watched this too many times already.
I think Rebecca is
so
right.
Weird.
The only other explanation is that somebody cast the spell on him and put him at 2 times speed, but only him, and everyone else is just on normal speed.
What was he thinking in his head at this time?
Maybe like the camera's on him, so he's got to really be excited.
That lady to his right is like getting blown away by the wind from the claps. Like, notice how she's drifting further. She can't withstand the air. Like,
look,
or he's like floating.
So fast.
Look at the lady. Okay,
I think that's his daughter. Yeah.
She's like, Dad, you're clapping in my face.
Like, that's what's happening right now. Like, somebody said there was a glitch. It's giving glitched. Yeah.
Oh my God.
Glitch too. Yeah.
Yeah.
There's a glitch in the Matrix.
Jesus.
Wow, that's really weird. What a weird dude.
We needed to laugh for a second. He's very
that
weird.
being said, I'll take him as president any day, given the alternatives here in the U.S. I'd be happy to have him be my prime minister one day if Canada will have me.
It's so it's so sad.
That's all you gotta do at the borders. Will you guys
that's
have
how you
me,
become
please?
Canadian.
And they're like, sure, come right in, eh? That's how it works here.
My hockey stick.
You gotta say A.
You gotta bring a hockey stick. Yes.
No doubt about it. Then
Hey, let me tell you what this is about. I've got my hockey stick here, eh?
Oh,
I'm ready to be a Canadian, okay?
Rebecca's like, that's good, but that's how we all sound. That's how Canadians all sound.
But that's not how Lance or David sound. You guys occasionally have the accent,
switch.
but then
it's because we code switch. That's how we
Canadians don't
normal society.
Okay.
Some Canadians
we
do
gotta
sound
do
like
it, so we don't sound Canadian.
Yeah, I watched a couple of seasons
assimilate.
of Big Brother Canada, and you all do sound more Canadian, but you are code switching for sure. Because, like,
yes,
you know,
yes, they are.
Yeah, for sure. Because you know they cannot, like, when they say about, it's so like powerful. It's like, what is this about, man? Did you betray me? Like, it's like, wow.
I feel like they want to end it with that A.
Yeah,
Lance has done it. But I haven't heard David, but I feel like sometimes he wants to end it with that. But I'm like, okay, I can hear the accents here, but
it's on the tip of his tongue, but he doesn't say A.
Try to hide it.
Yeah.
I've been trying to program myself to throw in A's and say about and sorry, just because I want people to think I'm Canadian.
And
Surrey.
And that's
I want them to think I am, though.
Surrey.
Surrey, BC.
That's crazy.
You know, Canadian shit.
Like, I want people to not know that I'm American. So it's like, if I say sorry or about once in a while, maybe they won't think I'm American.
Different if they know that you're not American.
Maybe they'll just have like different like perceptions of me immediately. You know, if like they hear me talking and they say, okay, this dude, you know, I don't know, bad vibes. He's got a beard and glasses. I don't know. But then I throw in a boat. They're like, oh, he's Canadian though.
All you got to do.
It throws people
Your beard
off
actually
a lot.
works if you wear some denim or you wear some red plaid. I got a good red
Then you're a
plaid I wear
barber.
sometimes.
Oh, that's the look.
Okay.
No,
That's what you gotta be.
It throws people off a lot. Like with me, everybody, because you know I'm from Florida, so I have that accent. And then you know people be like, but I hate when people say this too. But you can talk so proper at the same time. Okay, that don't make sense. Don't do that. But then when I switch into another language, I can speak it fully. They stare at me like I'm crazy, and I'm like, Black people speak other languages. Yeah, I don't think that. Why are you guys making this weird for me? Black people can speak other languages. It's not like I be in the store, and again, I live in a predominantly white place, so they just look at me and they automatically, you know, like she's American. And then when I just get on the phone with my mom or something, I'll be in every time I can speak another language. A mom and her child, because we're always in looking for like milk or something at the same time, and I'll just start speaking to my mom in Creole, and they'll just stare. Little girl staring at me, her mama's not stopping her mom is staring at me, and I just start speaking it, and I just keep going. I act like I don't even speak English. I act like I don't even speak English at that point, but it's so funny. It's hilarious.
The people who stare like that are the worst people on the planet. I swear to God. Don't stare at people.
I'm sorry, but what is a Florida accent?
Okay, like a Florida.
How do you
know?
It's me. Mickey Mouse.
This is Steamboat Willie.
Orlando.
Steamboat Willie version. All right, YouTube is the Steamboat Willie version.
There's a difference. That's Orlando. That's Orlando. That's Central Florida. I am from
Is it like
South
Ron
Florida.
DeSantis?
South.
Is that a Florida accent?
Not really.
I
don't
really
know
care
when
about the
he did.
woke virus and
That's
windy and high pitched and really annoying.
That's quite
Is that what
white.
that is?
South Florida, a lot of people, depending on where you're from, have a Hispanic or a Caribbean accent mixed in with how they speak. It depends on where you are. Of course, you know, you got the hood, so you got, you know, the suburbs, you got all of that. But a lot of people tend to have some sprinkle of a Caribbean accent or a Spanish accent, and white, black, in the middle, in between, everybody kind of South Florida, because we separate ourselves from Florida itself. Maybe like this is a part of the Caribbean or something, but a lot of people tend
North
to have
Florida
those
is
type of
different.
accents.
I've been
North
through
Florida
there.
country. I went to school there, and it's pretty country. I went to school in Tallahassee, Florida, at FAMU, and I was like, dang, it's really They don't got nothing out here. This is great. It's like Georgia. Attach it to Georgia. That's what I'll say with that. But Florida gets real different as you move along. Like, yeah. So the more north you go,
from
the
Tallahassee?
more Who? T-Pain?
Yeah, isn't he from Tallahassee?
Yes, he is. His name is Tallahassee. His name stands for Tallahassee Pain. So
I didn't know that. Okay.
Yeah.
Oh, that's cool.
Yeah, I love him. He's practicing right now. He's on tour and practicing accents everywhere he goes. He did the New Zealand one. He was in Australia. He did the Wisconsin one. And everywhere he's been practicing accents. And he opens up the show before he starts the song "Welcome to the Good Life" that he has with Kanye, and he'll practice the accents. And it's hilarious. You guys should go on a page. Yeah, it's hilarious.
He's genuinely hilarious and still like one of my faves.
I love him. Oh, he can sing, honey.
He can.
I love him.
Yeah, I saw that Black Sabbath cover he did. I was shocked.
It's so good, right?
Holy shit! Yeah,
so good. Yeah, and with T-Pain, because he made auto-tune popular, and yes, auto-tune was popular in the 80s and stuff, whatever, or the little whatever that is.
Yeah.
And so, but auto-tune was super, super popular with him for, the millennials. He brought it out. And a lot of people said he couldn't sing. Yes, his voice is very distinctive. He won the Masked Singer with his voice. And so a lot of people are like, wow, I didn't know he can sing. I was so obsessed with T-Pain when I graduated high school and I moved to Tallahassee. I was so obsessed. I wanted to go where he has a song called Ridge Road, where he talks about where he grew up. I made my cousin's boyfriend drive me to Ridge Road because I sang that song just with passion, because he talked about being home and when he goes home, how it makes him feel. And I'm like, wow, it's just so passionate. And I wanted to go to Ridge Road to see it so bad. And baby, it was just Holmes. It was just Holmes. That was it.
Like, you had no nostalgia for it because you didn't live there.
No,
I got to see him in concert when I was 17. It was really cool. It was during his first album. I think he only had like Sprung out, and I really liked it though. So I was still like a fan.
Rapper Prince Singer from that.
Yeah. He was really at the beginning, but he's still he put on a damn good show. And if you were a fan, you knew that he could sing because he would sprinkle in some songs without autotune. He did on like his second or third album, like a really good song. I can't remember the name now. I haven't listened to it in a while, but yeah, he's talented and he's funny. I'm a fan of him.
He's a comedian. He does a podcast. He's a gamer. He did a song for some game, and I don't even know about the game, but I downloaded the song because the song was so good. Like I'm a T-Pain fan, honey. I love T-Pain. It's great.
You know what? I got Matt. And I convinced Matt we should, because when we end the stream, when everybody leaves, we raid someone on Twitch, and I convinced Matt to raid T-Pain with me. So maybe if there was 2 raids, he would see us. Senpai did not notice me. Notice. I was very sad.
So yeah, maybe y'all should do another raid until he notices. Yeah, I love T-Pain, and if he can just be like, "Shouts out to the Leftist Mafia," that would be great.
I would clip that and save it forever.
Yes.
You could put it in the start for the theme song.
Yeah. Oh my god.
Yeah, it could be featuring T-Pain.
Right.
Oh, that'd be amazing.
We're getting a little bit too far in this completely fictional scenario that's never happening.
How do you know it's never happened? Matt, you're a hater today. Yeah, absolutely. We gotta try again next Thursday. Get that energy up because you are a 100% hater today. Let us live in this land.
That's Matt every week. What are you talking about?
Let us dream, Matt.
But Matt was real vocal tonight with his hateration.
All right. Well, should we switch to super chats?
Sure. Mike said it wasn't me. Mike said it. Mike's idea.
It was coming.
We should do.
It's time. It's time. I'm getting tired too. I can't lie.
Exhausted. Oh, me, Andrew. Thank you so much.
This is me, actually, but thank you. If you want to take $50, you can.
I thought
$50. Oh,
he probably gave me one too. Andrew.
Wow, so much.
Oh my god.
I got a new applause. I got a new applause sound drop. I did some work this week.
Oh, that's a good one.
That's a good one.
And it's $50 American. What a waste! You can't even use it up there.
That means after YouTube takes their cut, it'll be about $50 Canadian. So it works out perfectly. Hey, David. The video game layoffs hit me hard because she was one of the. I think he says it's his sister. His sister was one of the employees laid off from Riot. It sucks because she was part of the production team that won an Emmy in 2023 for their broadcast of the 2022 World Finals. This year is rough. Yeah, I did a whole video on the video game industry and all the layoffs. I mean, with Microsoft's big layoffs today being like the big story, but that really sucks.
That was a great video.
It's a terrible. Thanks. The industry is just fucking. It's rotting, and it's because there's part of it, as I discussed in the video. I think there's very little unions in the gaming industry, especially compared to some other industries. There's just not a lot of representation, and these companies are making so much money. The industry is doing better than ever in terms of like profits for companies, for corporations, but it's not going back down to the workers.
Yeah.
Right. I was just going to say, it's interesting that Andrew mentioned that his sister was part of the team that won an Emmy. Because, in tandem with the recent journalism layoffs that we saw at like the LA Times and Business Insider, where journalists were saying, I literally won whatchamacallit. I'm having a mental block. Help me out here. The big.
I know what you're talking about. I'm forgetting it too now. Pulitzer.
That Pulitzer. Yeah, I won a Pulitzer, and I'm getting laid off. I mean, it's super crystal clear to anyone who still believes that, like, oh, you just got to work hard enough. Just got to put that does not matter. There's nothing that protects you from these companies and their inability to be satiated by making just a good amount of profit. They have to maximize constantly, and it gets to the point where the only way that they can do that then is to lay off, fire people, downsize, and continue to just squeeze any bit of money they can out of this company like vampires.
Yeah.
It's very dystopian.
So I guess we'll do Rebecca's, since I assume you got to work.
Yeah, you know it. You know it.
Here you go.
Oh, is this for me? Okay. Sorry about that troll who failed Bender chat last time. Much love. I don't know. Was that for me? This is for me? Okay, so sorry about the troll who failed Bender chat last time. Much love. Well, thank you if you were fighting
there was a troll in your chat, and my chat people were trying to warn me about it, but I didn't see it until after.
Okay.
Oh yeah, I think there are some people saying that you need mods now in your chat.
Yeah, so the person I had modding is taking a break right now, so I did put one. Tony Rizzo, shout out to you in the chat today. So thank you so much.
Oh, nice.
So, yeah, I don't really see what's going on, and that's because they're definitely.
You can make us mods too, and if I see it all, I can block them too.
Because I don't be seeing. I don't like the mean things, so I try not to look too much. I just kind of have a conversation with the people in the chat. So, but thank you so much, Charlie, and thank you, Andrew, for your super sticker. Yay! Thank you so much.
$50. My God!
Don't hate.
Wow! No hating there. No hating there.
Andrew,
you guys are seeing me now. You guys are thinking I'm worth it now. Thank you so much.
When it comes to my peers making money, I have no ifs, ands, or buts about it. Full support, unless you're
Thank you.
No, continue. Let's.
Thank you. Depressed Progressive. Thank you so much. My first super chat ever, and I wanted to give it to Rebecca. Big hugs back to you, and thank you for letting me pop your super chat cherry. Absolutely, I appreciate it. I'm honored. And the Zara Ali, thank you so much for I don't even know what's the NOK. Where's that from? Like that currency.
North Korea.
Norwegian krone.
It's North Korea.
Oh, North Korea. Oh, okay.
No, Norwegian. Norway.
Oh, thank you so much. Look, all around the world. Rebecca's international, okay? Thank you so much. Thank you.
Hell yeah.
Jay Cass was informing myself recently of foreign country's politics. Is it true that the DR is building a wall between them and Haiti? So they've been trying to work on something like that. Haiti, in turn, has started building a canal, like with the people. It's not even something that the government was assisting with. Just random, regular folks and their kids have started building a canal around what used to be where they slaughtered Haitians historically. People from the DR slaughtered Haitians. They are now building a canal to separate themselves from the DR instead of them trying to do it themselves. There has been a lot of division and work in that canal, that area where the canal is. Historically, where a lot of Haitians have died at the hands of the Dominican Republic, they also use it for business. So when they close that down, it's hard for the DR to get business off of Haitians and their produces and things like that. So they done built the canal and they're like, you know what, we're gonna do it ourselves. The Haitian government won't sign off on it. So the locals, people, they go there every day, and it's like an assembly line. And if you guys can look on the page Faces of Haiti on Instagram and actually see it, there's going to be a documentary coming out. A friend of mine is working on, which is working on the day-to-day and how kids, women, men, they come off of work or they're spending their time to do it by themselves, and they've made real great progress, and they're almost done. So yeah. That's happening there.
You'll have to plug that when it comes out. I'd be interested in seeing that.
Yes, I will. I definitely will. Kate Hartley, thank you so much for your Canadian funds. Okay, your Canadian money. The CA is Canadian dollars, right? I just want to make sure. Okay. Yeah. So the real airline story should be those jets marked unsafe a couple of weeks ago. And I said to Kate, I haven't heard about that story, but I will definitely look into it. I haven't heard about that one. Parker, thank you so much. We need Dr. Carl Mack. If you guys don't know Dr. Carl Mack, he is the black voice of Google. And we had him on our show in 2020. He was a part of the team. Cool. And he was just he's just an amazing voice. And he don't play, right? So he's the one that would go in on Charlie Kirk about the buses that he funded go over on January 6th to the Capitol. And he just, so Parker says we need Dr. Carl Mack to go in on Charlie Kirk for this. I remember him going off on Charlie a couple years ago on your show with Ben for 80 buses. And he really went in on Charlie and said he would hit him with a 2x4. I don't know, but it was a conversation. I don't remember, but thank you, Parker, for bringing that up. Archangel, $10. Thank you so much, Rebecca. I finally caught one of your Saturday streams of Like It or Not with Ben Dixon and loved it. Definitely making it a regular watch. I love Ben from seeing him on TYT. Keep it up. Thank you so much. Our Saturday shows are a vibe. If you haven't watched it, make sure you tune in on Saturdays around 10 o'clock, around 10 a.m. And we'll be on. Me and Ben and our DJ Bubba have such a good time. So Dan Dixon, thank you so much for your $25. I appreciate it. He says, I'm grateful for your contributions to the group. So glad you joined the podcast. Keep being awesome, Rebecca. That is so sweet. Look, making me cheese. Thank you so much. Thank you, Dan. I appreciate it. And I'm glad to be here too.
And that is the last one.
That's the last one. I love it. And it's a good note to end on. See, look, love y'all, mean it. Thank you for the good energy. I had a good time with you guys tonight with Matt hating behind. It was all good. We needed that energy. We needed that balance. So I will see you guys next week. And you guys have a good night. And be here till 2 a.m. Y'all be streaming.
Oh my God, no.
I don't know. Well, looking at all the super chats you got, I think we'll be out of here quick. You just read half the super chats of the night, I think.
They love me tonight. I appreciate it. I appreciate it.
She's
Bye,
killing
y'all.
it. Take care,
Bye,
Rebecca. Do you have any? Did you get monetized yet, Lance, on Mind Explosions?
Oh yeah, sorry. Thanks for helping me get monetized. Mind Explosions is monetized now. You're all awesome.
Nice,
It only
cool.
took forever. I don't know if you know this. After I got monetized, they did this thing where they're like, you now need 1,000 more hours before we unlock ads, and I was like, what? So
What?
I had to, that's a new thing. So if you start new channels, once you get monetized, they then add 1,000 hours, and you have to get 1,000 more hours to unlock the ad revenue. But
I hope that doesn't apply
so
to me.
ridiculous.
Yeah, I know it's so intense.
Jesus.
God.
But yeah, I can stick around. I can stick around till 8. I'll just say hey, and I just have a couple, so I'll read them later. Just go nuts. Super chat yourselves. Super chat away.
Who's this? Let's pick up the pace.
Oh, I gotta go back to the beginning now. I got no idea what's going on. Where the hell are we?
Just scroll up.
1 second. Oh,
I got Andrew. I didn't read this, Andrew, but I included it in your previous one. But yes, thank you.
This is for me.
And thank you, Andrew, for the 5 gifted memberships. By the way, just real quick, wanted to, since Andrew was up, thank you so much.
Oh, Andrew
yeah,
did
and
that
I
to
got
me too. That's so generous of you.
Yeah, he's spreading the love.
Oh,
I got 5
love, Andrew.
I got 5 gifted memberships from Andrew as well. Cool.
Oh my
Also, I got
gosh.
five gifted memberships from Tokyo Hans and a gifted membership from Charlie the Ginnimer. Thank you so much. And now for the
Wow.
comments on the screen. That's from me, from Wanda. I've begun phone banking to PA for the 2024 election. So far, Biden still has support from likely voters who voted in 2020.
Oh, okay. That's good to know. It might change as we get closer. That's interesting, though.
Law Gnomes, thank you for the super chat. Says Sarah Nelson, Sean Fain, Union Power Ticket 2028. I do think that is sort of where, if you're going to be serious about elections, I think union leadership is where people should be looking for future leaders. Get away from these fucking career politicians, these people that are just lying to your face. Get to someone who's actually done some real work for actual workers and has some actual history. And yeah.
Also,
it's just a matter of getting them into it because a lot of them probably don't want to.
It'll take also reconfiguring the average voter's mind about who should become a president, who should get elected.
Yeah,
they definitely think,
that'll be a big piece. Of it.
It's a politician's job, you know.
Honestly, the left should be concentrating on local elections so much more. I can't tell you how much of my life has been affected by the electoral election that just happened locally here for a really a police mayor has turned this city into an absolute disaster where overdoses are out of control, cops are destroying tents, it just sucks. It's become Gotham, and that's because of a local election. I get involved in local elections, volunteer or canvas, or you will most likely be able to have way more impact because no one shows up. I was canvassing and everyone was shocked that there was an election when I was working on the elections here, and we had 38% turnout, I think, something like that. Abysmal. Most local elections were 15%. Do that. Work on local elections. You'll help a lot. It'll affect your life more than probably sexy elections.
I think this is for me, but the name is different. So it says SR Warner here on my YouTube screen. It says Miss Warner, but I believe it's the exact same message. So. Warner, $10 super chat, thank you. Says Gen Xer been waiting for the boomers to let go my whole life, kids. I cannot pull the trigger on Joe. It's like being complicit to genocide or fascism. I would say watch Ole's video on voting. You should not feel like your vote. Don't feel bad if someone that you voted for did something terrible. That's not on you at all. That's not. That isn't how you should think about voting at all. Voting is simply a tool, a way to interact with democracy.
Don't let people shame you into voting, but it's all trash.
Yeah, you are not guilty for the crimes of the politician you voted for. You have no options.
Yeah.
You just work with what you've got. That's not the blood is not on your hands. Never think that.
Also for me, K Blaze, thank you for the super chat. Says the best option is to push a strong left platform. Well, I guess this goes to what Bender was saying earlier. I think it depends where you are, what race you're running in. A Senate race is a little different than a congressional race, different than a mayoral race. It really depends on your situation, where you are. Obviously, that's what you would want to do when you're in, but in terms of running and winning, it's a little more complicated. Oh, did that already? I'm almost going through all of mine. I don't know why they're all the first ones, but okay. Zia Spots. This is bizarre. Honestly, the current state has me in despair. Vote for a genocidal a-hole to stop another who also hates LGBTQ plus and women. I can't stomach voting Biden. This is utterly miserable. To be honest, I don't know what to do. Thank you, Zia, for the super chat. As we said, you should not feel guilty for what the person you voted for did. But again, watch Ole's video on voting, see how that makes you feel, and just do that.
Yeah. If you live in a swing state, by the way, it is important to suck it up and vote Democrats because you don't want to hand it to fascists, right? If you live in a deep blue state or a deep red state and you really just don't want to pull the lever for Biden, it's not that big of a deal. As David said, please go watch Ole's video because she goes through all the nuances, and it's really important that you hear the points that she makes.
This is also my. I don't know why they're all organized this way, but I only got like 2 left, so I might as well just finish. JCast, $2. Thank you.
Yeah, I'm sure it
just
just happened to work out that way. I'm sure.
Look at the list. Is your list like this? Is your list like this too? I've never seen it like this. I don't know why I'm all the first ones. This doesn't make any sense. Just want to hear you say. I'm not going to say that. Well, what does that mean? I don't know what that means. I don't say things. I don't know what they mean. So, I will say them in different sentences. Can you even say the first one on YouTube?
I probably can, right? Yeah.
Sprinkles.
Should we try it?
Sprinkles. I'll say sprinkles. There you go, Jay.
I'll say the first part.
Okay, you say the first part.
Titty.
Sprinkles. There
we go.
And since I'm on my last one, I guess I'll just do it and then go play some Prince of Persia because I want to beat that game before Persona 3 comes out. Michael Weaver. By the way, the new Prince of Persia game, really, really very excellent. Very good.
I played the demo. It was really
highly
fun.
recommended. It's really, really good.
Have you checked out Pal World, David?
Oh, God. I don't get the hype. I'm sorry if you're into it. I don't get it. I play like 20 minutes. I'm like, this is a waste of my I'm picking up sticks. What the fuck am I doing here? This is dumb. I'm not into survival games generally, so no.
I'm addicted to it.
Oh my God. Why are you into that dumb? There's so many good games out. There's so many good, like great games out. Why would you waste your time in Pal World?
It's co-op for one, so both me and my husband can play.
There are so many great games that are co-op. You got to play Pal World.
That's true. There's no other co-op games out there.
The gameplay loop is good. I usually don't like the survival games too, but the gameplay loop is fun, man. I've got to admit, it's got
whatever you're. Look, I'm not going to judge where you waste your free time, but
have you read all the complaints about the game from actual artists and creators who are concerned with the alleged plagiarism with the game?
I'm waiting to see what Nintendo does because they're very strict with their IP.
Yeah.
So I'll take it seriously once they do because they'll like copyright strike and they'll like
Matt, are you saying that facetiously, or is it like is there validity
anybody
to what's happening? Like, did they actually take their intellectual property? Did they steal it?
There's no validity in the claims of AI or anything like that. AI can't do that. If anything, it's like giving too much credit to AI and sort of buying into what the AI hustlers and hype people are trying to sell. But I've seen very convincing videos where they basically take a Pokemon character's model and lay it directly over one of the characters in Pal World, and it is a like 100% match. Like
it's very
you don't
close.
even have to do that to see. Some of them look just like we were playing it. Yeah, we were playing it at first, and before I really knew anything, I'm like, dude, that's just the straight up Pokemon. Holy shit, it looks just like a fucking Pokemon.
I didn't know it's that blatant.
I mean,
yeah, some of them are pretty blatant, not all of them. But yeah,
the argument from some people are like, "Oh, it's."
Go ahead. I think we're
there. It has slavery undertones. I didn't know that. I don't know anything about the game.
I think I froze. I'm sorry.
No worries.
The argument I think is just that there is maybe it's just like satirical. I mean, it's obviously inspired by Pokemon. No one's going to deny that. The developers can't deny that. But the argument they can maybe make is that, hey, this is just, it's parody. It's not, I think that's what maybe they would argue. But
that wouldn't fall into parody though. Not
there's
at all.
A huge difference though. Yeah, there's a huge difference between being influenced by a game or parodying a game. There's tons of games that are influenced by Pokemon. Any game that creates their own like little monsters that you could collect or grab or catch is influenced by Pokemon, obviously. But the allegation is that they just straight up took the exact models and just changed,
identical character design. Yeah.
Yeah, like they just changed some like very minuscule design elements to feign that it's just a coincidence or it's an inspiration even. But like it very like there's one character that just straight up has Meowth's face. Like it's just so clearly stolen. Like it's the exact. It's not like, oh, that looks like Meowth. No, it is exactly like copy and paste. They took the exact Meowth model and took his face.
Is it Cativa? Because I don't think Cativa looks
I
like
have no
Meowth.
idea what the characters are. I have no idea what the characters
I think they mix and match some of the elements of different Pokemon. There's no one that looks exactly like the Pokemon, but you can tell where the inspirations come from, and then the mouth on the Meowth, I think, is the mouth on a different looking kind of Pokemon, or Pal, whatever the hell they're called. So it's but I'm curious to see where Nintendo goes with this, because
I'm curious too.
This game has 6 million sales now,
8 million.
It's
now.
one of the
It's
top.
fucking insane.
What is it?
8 million now as of today.
8 million, and it's one of the top most concurrently played games on Steam of all time. It's completely insane how big this is blowing up so quickly. So if there is a real legal battle over this game may not exist if Nintendo wins. They may have to completely change how it looks.
Yeah, some of these models, they need to change it. You could just tell. Even before I even heard about the controversy, just playing it, I'm like, okay, this is a ripoff of another Pokemon. I forgot which one it was.
You could definitely be allowed to make Pokemon style games, though, right? There's been unsuccessful lawsuits where video game companies try to copyright control schemes.
Well, yeah,
games like Street Fighter, can't.
This
do
game
that.
doesn't play like Pokemon.
Copyright
Though,
games. Okay.
Oh no, it's not. There's Pokemon elements, you have a Pokeball, a Pal Sphere, and you capture them. But it's a blend of a ton of games, right? The character models look like Fortnite. It takes elements from Breath of the Wild.
The climbing is like
areas.
Breath of the Wild. They steal a bunch of Nintendo shit.
Yeah, it's an amalgamation of a bunch of games. And games in general are pretty derivative, right? I played Liza P last year. It was one of my favorite games. And it's very similar aesthetically to Bloodborne. Plays a lot
everyone in the
Dark
chat is
Souls.
saying Pokemon ripped off Dragon Quest, so they're not even the first original.
Well, I mean, Pokemon is just animals and shit. If you look at some of the new Pokemon, it's oh, here's an apple and some car keys. Literally, there's a key Pokemon. So, you know what I mean? If they're taking actual models from Pokemon,
Noah's Ark.
And
Noah's Ark, the story is Pokemon. You gotta catch them all.
So if they're taking the actual models from
really
Pokemon, that's I think super scandalous. I think that some of them are so close they should change it.
The complaint really is the character models, not other inspirations. I think Digimon predates Pokemon, if I'm not. I believe.
I'm learning things.
I mean, there's Temtem also, which is just MMO Pokemon, right? But it's a matter of did they steal the actual?
It's the character.
Because when you see the actual models, it's see, I didn't. After seeing them, okay, that makes sense because some of these look so fucking similar. But then it's okay, they have a fucking sheep. And then Pokemon has a sheep. It's like a ball, but it just looks like a fucking sheep, though. It's very generic. So if they can prove it with the models, then there's a case. I think that they should just change some of them because they look generic and pretty super derivative of Pokemon.
They have the money to do it now. They can definitely hire
they can do whatever they want. It's not a perfect game. It's super janky, but the gameplay loop is really, really fun. It's a good Pokemon game, but also much more than just Pokemon with guns. And also, it's kind of fucked up in a way because you could put your pals to work, and then they start to complain about the working conditions, and then you can choose to be more cruel and make them work hard. I'm like, this is legitimately
the slavery
a dystopian
element.
Fucking game.
That's the appeal, though, in the sense that you have these really cute looking Pokemon essentially, and you're putting them to work and you're murdering them with guns. If they change the model so much that they no longer look like Pokemon, I don't think it's really going to have the same appeal. I think the fact that these are cute and cuddly little creatures is half of the appeal of why the game is as big as it is. I mean, at least half of the appeal. Because if they didn't have that aesthetic, I don't think it would be as it's a survival game. It's just it's like Ark or anything else.
It's very part of the appeal, and I think why people like it is because it's so absurd. At first, you walk up to them and you start punching them to catch them to weaken them.
Yeah.
And then you give your little
and their eyes, they have
swirly
eyes, and it's just
you give your little chipmunk character a submachine gun and put him over your shoulders and have him shoot at the other. It's so insane.
You know what's fucked up is this making me want to play the game.
Okay.
I want to see how fucked up it is.
I only played it because it's on Game Pass. If you have Game Pass, it's on Game Pass. That's why I checked it out. I would not pay full price.
Lance, add me on Steam. You could play in our party.
Okay, all right.
We have a party called the Bussies, so you can join us.
Hell yeah!
I would ask you if it's crossplay because I may join, but I don't want to get into this game. So.
No, David, it's listen. It is so much fun if they can. If they actually have copied Pokemon models, I think that's fucked up, and I would be against it. But like, if they
you'll
did
still
not
enjoy
do
the
that,
fuck
they
out
need
of
to
it.
change it. Yeah, it's objectively just I think a fun game for me. Like I just enjoy it. But yeah.
It's just when I was on there, I'm like, I feel like I should be playing Prince of Persia instead because it's such a well-crafted game to then go to play this and fucking pick up.
The problem is you didn't play long enough. Spawn, if you watch Spawn Wave's video, he wasn't feeling the first hour or so, and then on hour 3, he's like, okay, I get the gameplay loop now. It makes sense. Like it's just so stupid. It's absurd, but it's like I want to keep playing it.
If it came out during like a dead time, I could see, but like Yakuza, or I should say, Like a Dragon, that's calling it, comes out tomorrow that I want, that I'm not buying because I want Persona 3 next week, and then there's like Grand Blue Fantasy. There's a lot of great games coming out next few months. It's just impossible.
That's a lot of time. Those are a lot of RPGs.
I know. I'm not gonna. That's why I'm only sticking to Persona, and then I'll see where I go from there.
I'm trying
Michael
to get through Final
Weaver.
Fantasy 7 still.
Oh, great. That comes out the end of what, March, I think. Oh my god,
Yeah,
it's too much.
I haven't played the first one. I'm like, I don't know, a couple hours.
Oh, it's really good. It's really good. This has been on screen for like 20 minutes. Michael Weaver, $5 super chat. Thank you. Says, I wanted to get y'all to talk about what is the plan if people don't vote for Biden and Trump actually gets back in, because it's very likely. Any takers? What is the plan?
I don't know. Same thing I've been saying, even if that doesn't happen, is that I still think people should organize locally. And I think that should be for a variety of reasons. If I was you and you're worried about safety, if you have resources, I'd start looking into getting further away from red states, especially if you happen to be LGBTQ+, right?
Yeah.
Like, I mean, things are just getting worse and worse. Look after yourselves, join local organizations, all that kind of stuff. And like, both I think all three of you were saying, like, a lot of the victories in the left are occurring in the worker movements, in unionization, in people effectively, like that video that David put out today. I would recommend to watch, just because like it shows you a stark difference between those who are unionized in the video game industry and everyone else who's just getting fucking gutted now that VC's drying up and everyone's pulling money out. Like, it's funny to laugh at like Tesla bottoming out right now back to its like pre-speculation amounts, like what is it, like 182 or something, while he's in the middle of his like I'm not anti-Semitic tour. But like for a lot of people, there's thousands of jobs being lost, not specifically for that company, but all over the place, in media, in tech, video games, all that kind of shit. And like David pointed out, the exception to the rule are the unionized. So again, that would be my advice. If you can. Yeah.
And I got one more. This came in late. Hideous Lemon. Thank you. I'm not going to say that again. I appreciate the message. There you go. All right, that was weirdly they were all in order. They should do that more often. I'm gonna go now, but thank you all for sending in your super chats, and thank you all for being here for this great conversation. I will leave you now and try to find where I left you the last time.
Okay, yeah, I'm looking too. And David, I'll see you on Pal World this weekend.
Oh,
the pussies.
In the pussies.
Oh, I think I missed Tokyo.
Fucking up some Pokemon.
I think I missed Tokyo Hans. I think I missed Tokyo Hans.
That's a great team name.
I think I found it. It's this one, right? Tokyo?
No, mine is Trudeau must have hired the same image consultant as DeSantis. That's from Tokyo Hans. I mean, whatever the hell's going on with Trudeau, he's always been.
That's a good comment. Accurate.
Okay, this is the first one that I see. Besides, I did get a new membership
that
from Raven
after,
McQueen.
Yeah, it's probably yours then if it's the first.
Yeah, I believe this. I think this is where we're at. This one is for me from Tokyo Hans. Thank you, Tokyo, for the 1,000 yen. Political ad idea. Mike in full rainbow guard, 20 rainbow flags in the back, blasting techno, pounding a Bud Light, saying, I'd like to see MAGA come to my town, then busting out some dance moves. That would slap. That'd be pretty cool. I don't know that I would be able to pull off something that cool, but it would be awesome if I could.
Hell yeah.
I believe this one's also from me. Hideous Lemon. Thank you so much for the 10 pounds. Have you guys seen the news about Matt Gaetz? The ethics probe has contacted new witnesses, more minors. Also asked the DOJ for evidence from their investigation of him. I haven't really read into this, but I'll have to look into this because that's interesting. JCast $2. Shout out to Mike's Mustache Booger Tea. I looked and I don't see a booger. I think that what you're seeing if you're not just like trolling, is I have like a white hair on this side in my mustache. I gotta pluck that. But maybe it looks like a booger in the light.
I got all these weird looking cuts along the front of my face, and that's because Chico pulled me into a pole, and like I slammed into a pole, and I haven't like been hit in the face in a long time, and I was like, oh, I forgot that feeling of just being like, dizzy and can't see straight and stuff.
Ooh,
yeah.
Damn.
That's
human abuse.
You said that as if there was a time in your life where you were constantly being hit in the face.
When I was eaten constantly. Turtle shells being thrown at me.
Tokyo Hans with a super chat for me. Finally, geez, someone give me a super chat. MB, I have an idea to make the super chats run more smoothly. Chatters. I'm laughing at this already. Chatters place an indicator at the beginning of the chat. Example, MB equals Matt, MF equals motherfucker. Oh, I'm sorry. Mike, he says. RA equals Rebecca. TS equals the surfs. And David is obviously SS. Yeah.
Oh, that's funny.
This one is from Sam. Nice to see you, Sam. Member super chat. Also, Lily Gladstone is the first Native North American to be nominated for Best Actress, which should be talked about more instead of this outrage. Yeah, that's really cool. I still need to see Killers of the Flower Moon, by the way. I know it's on Apple TV. I really want to watch it.
I also recommend reading the book afterwards.
Oh, I didn't know there was a book. Okay.
So I did it in reverse. Like most people read the book first, then they saw the movie, but I read the book after the movie, and it was actually really cool because you see, and I'm not going to spoil anything, but you see a lot of intentional things they changed, including not making Leo the FBI character, because it could have been a white savior film. It could have been like the noble white FBI agent comes up and gets the dastardly bad people who try to genocide these noble, Native Americans, right? But instead they made him a completely different character. I won't spoil it, but it was a good call because that way it actually does a lot better job of telling the Osage's story and everything. Yeah, it's really good.
Okay, yeah. I really want to. I'm gonna have to try to make time this weekend. Okay, so this one, I believe this is for you, Matt.
Is it for me? Oh, I just want to add an update, by the way. Apparently, Marianne Williamson is claiming that even though she mentioned that the best move for her campaign to do would be to suspend the campaign on the call that was widely reported, she's claiming that she did not, in fact, suspend her campaign.
Oh. So okay.
Listen, the right move here is to suspend my campaign, which is why I'm going to continue going.
Well, I'm glad we had the conversation, but we did the whole what's it called? The obituary on her campaign.
Right. So with this latest
Were you reading that
piece
from
of
political polls?
What's that?
The official,
yes.
The official. Yeah. Okay, that's really funny.
So whatever I said earlier about Marianne Williamson and her campaign, I am reversing course and saying Marianne Wilson 2024.
Well, that's an endorsement.
Yeah. There you go. Radio friendly box. You're right. That is for me. Movies shouldn't be made with topics meant to bulletproof themselves from Oscar snubs. Like, how dare you not nominate Schindler's List? Oh, right. Yeah, I mean, I don't think... I mean, obviously there are movies that are clearly made for Oscar consideration. But, I mean, what can you do? I mean, the Iron Claw didn't get nominated. And to me, that was surprising. Because that was a movie that seemed tailor-made for the Academy Awards.
Hideous Lemon with the member super chat. Thank you so much. In Charlie Kirk's debate with Vosh on Tim Pool's show, he called black people urban. Oh, did he really?
Charlie Kirk did.
Well, that wouldn't surprise me if he did. Because
it does sound like Charlie Kirk.
Yeah, he's racist. So yeah. I think this one's for you, Matt. Uh-oh. He's frozen again.
Oh, he's gone.
I'm gonna really quickly leave the studio and come back in and see if that solves this, because this is ridiculous.
Okay, yeah, go ahead.
I gotta believe because
I'll quickly rattle off my super chats.
Yeah, we'll let Lance go.
Jcast, thank you for the $5 dono. That cockpit door failed because the hinge was painted black. It was up to no good. That's in reference to the flights and them not trusting black people as pilots, even though it's ridiculous. Andrew S, thank you so much for the 5 gifted subs. Very, very generous of you.
Andrew S.
And yeah, thanks for doing that to everybody. That was really nice.
Yeah.
So Ren, your thumbnail is hilarious, by the way. You guys should do an award for most ghoulish right-wing commenter. We could probably do that after we finish, the Leftist Mafia giving us each other awards show.
Right.
And finally, Tokyo Hands, thank you for the 500 yen with the message. Just some money for enjoying my Trudeau comment. No problem. Thanks, everybody. Appreciate you.
Can you just, Lance? Can you just connect your channel to the StreamYard so we could see all your stuff like everybody else? Why do you do it differently?
I don't know how you guys connect it. What do I have to do? Like, do I have to log in or create an account?
You just go into the StreamYard dashboard and you just connect your accounts. And then when David
I will
presses
do that. I always
live,
connect as a guest.
When David presses live, it goes live on every single channel. And that way, if your connection goes down for any reason, because StreamYard's running it on their end, your channel will still be live with the rest of the crew.
Oh, okay, sweet. Yeah, I'll do that.
It should say connect your channel or something like that in like the top right, I want to say. But you should just have to do it once, right? And then
I've done it once and never had to do it again.
Because I don't have to do it either every week, so it's just. And you could disconnect it if you wanted to do a different channel, I think.
Okay, awesome.
Tokyo Hans with a super chat. Charlie Kirk's comments. Black pilots are way better. For example, look at the Tuskegee Airmen. Not a single loss of a bomber on their escort trips. They were specifically requested by white bomber pilots.
I think this one is you as well. We'll keep on rolling.
Foresto with a super chat. We should have awards for lower level roles like best background actor, best bit part, best cameo, etc. There should be a lot more awards. I would be down for that.
Yeah. The award show can be like 10 hours.
Hideous Lemon with £2. Thank you. They want the pilot to have Habsburg jaw. Yeah. I think this is you, Matt, I want to say.
Jay Cash with a super chat. Have you seen Vince McMahon's alleged text messages to his accusers? Literally looks like a horny 15-year-old typed them. You're downplaying them. It's not. It's worth what the allegations are and what is coming out in this suit from this woman who worked for the company, who is saying that Vince McMahon literally sex trafficked her. Is one of the texts, the content of those texts, the what's in that suit is some of the most horrific things I've ever heard. I think we need to talk more about it than what we have here at the end of this show, but I'll say the way you're describing it is downplaying it. It is abhorrent, honestly, what he's writing to her and what he's claiming to tell other people that he's going to allow them to do to her. I mean, this is
oh wow,
it's a
movie villain shit.
Apparently, he was using her and his trafficking her as part of deals he would sign with other. Like, he would promise her to people as part of the deal he would sign with them. It's really some of the most... And Vince McMahon there's been stories about him for decades, and I can only imagine what else is going to come out from other people. And this is allegations from 2020, when the man's in his 70s. So I can only imagine what's going to come out when he was doing... running the company and doing coke in the 80s or whatever, when he was 30, 40 years younger. But this is even worse. The details, the specifics are even worse than I could possibly comprehend. And I would say that if you're going to look it up and read it, be warned. It's rough. The things in detail they say that he did to her and let other people do to her is horrific.
I got another one for you.
T-Types with a super chat. Andries Lubitz, the only commercial pilot to ever intentionally crash their flight, was an average-looking white guy.
Yeah. This one is for me. It says the message retracted, so I can't see it. So I'm not sure what you said, but I appreciate the $10 super chat. Hopefully you won't get charged if you retracted the message.
I think the message is I gotta leave. Sorry, gentlemen, I have to take off. I just noticed the patch is 8. So
all right, well, take care.
I'll see you next week. Bye.
God bless. Okay, so I think this one is for you. Oh no, this was Rebecca. I'm sorry. This one would be for you.
The letter hack with a super chat. Let's be real. If Nancy Pelosi had directed a film last year and wasn't nominated, old Matt would be singing a different tune entirely. Right. Nancy Pelosi
True.
for all the awards, please.
Love her.
Is this for me too? Oh, yeah, it is. Admiral Stewie with a $10 super chat. It is of dire importance that you all know Tom McDonald has announced he is releasing a music video called Facts with Ben Shapiro tomorrow morning.
Stop.
At 9 a.m. I saw this.
Shut up. Is it real?
I saw his little teaser video. Do you want to pull it up, Mike? Hold on.
Is that copyright though? Because it's a song?
I don't think the song is in the teaser video. It's really bad.
Okay, if you can give me the link, I'll pull it up. Oh my god. I'm a huge Tom McDonald fan.
Are you really?
No, I'm being sarcastic. I love him in the same way I love Hillary, but yeah.
There you go.
Okay, let me pull that up. Oh, I'm excited. This is going to be so good.
It's so bad. Let's remove the super chat too so there's room for people
Oh my
to see
god,
this.
please have Ben Shapiro be part of it.
Oh no, he's definitely part of it. Watch this.
Does he rap?
Remove this remove the super chat so people could see it.
Okay, give me 1 sec.
Thank you, Admiral Stewie, though, for bringing it up. All right, here we go.
All right, people keep asking me who's going to be rapping with me in this new music video on Friday, so let's give him a FaceTime call and just see if he's ready.
Hey, Tom, what's up?
What? Oh my god. Please let Ben Shapiro have a significant role. That would be amazing. Oh my god.
I can't wait to hear it. I can't wait to hear. I hope he gets him to read the lyrics to Wet Ass P Word. As Ben Shapiro called it. Hey Tom, what's up? Hey Tom, what's up?
That's actually really good.
Hey Tom, what's up?
I can't do it. Watch, he didn't actually collaborate with Ben Shapiro. He got a cameo, and it's like, hey, can you tell my friend Tom, hey, what's up for his birthday or some shit?
Hey Tom.
Okay. So I think we got. Was this David's? I think it was David's, right?
I think so.
Okay, so this brings us to Joe Mancuso. Hey, Joe, how's it going? It's nice to see you again. $20. Wow, I really appreciate that. Lance is going to greet you with maple syrup at the border. I hope so, right? Like some maple syrup, a Canadian flag, and like, some good Canadian flannel. I think that would be a good warm welcome. Let's see here. So I think this one is for me. This is from the Bitey Face Puppy Guy. 10 Canadian, thank you so much. For David Joel, a Canadian diversion. Our new Conservative Party leader thinks that austerity and spending cuts will solve our housing crises by lowering inflation. How do we stop this neolib crap? Oh, well, shoot. I wish David Dole was here to give you the proper, mechanisms to push back in Canada. But as non-Canadians here, I don't know if I'm qualified. But the Conservative Party is crazy. And, whenever it comes to conservative politics in Canada, I always tell them to watch David Dole videos. So, man, I wish that he was here to answer that. But thank you for the super chat. Okay, so this one is for you, I'm assuming, also.
Yeah, Omega with a super chat. Did you read Vince McMahon may be trafficking people? Yep, just talked about it from that previous super chat. I don't think we need to go over it again right
Yeah.
now. Yeah, we'll have to dive. I'm gonna reach out to David Bixenspan and have him back on this show to talk about this, because I think this has some real there's some, what's the word I'm looking for? It's very possible that this can have some long-standing repercussions on the company as a whole. Because it's very clear this is not just Vince's thing. It is very clear that there were multiple people involved here, and that multiple people on top of that who weren't directly involved knew about it. This person might not be the only person in the history of the WWE to have these sort of allegations.
Wow. I feel like we did mention this one, did we? Was this David's?
I'm not sure.
I think it was David's. If not, yeah, it's not mine either. Just in case. Yeah, I would say, yeah, we did cover this one, but I would say get a passport ready just in case shit hits the fan. Lizzie Bennett, this one's for me. Thank you so much. $10. Hey, Leftist Mafia. Everyone talks about the Barbie snub, but no one mentions the color purple snub. Anyway, Oscars are mid. Agree. Free Palestine. I say this as a Jewish woman. And to my gamers, give Tekken 8 a chance. I haven't tried it yet, but yeah, I'll keep that in mind. I'm not very big into fighting games because I'm very bad at them, but maybe I'll check it out if I want something. Okay. So this one is for me from Brandon Hill, $10. Thank you, Brandon. I'm an Amazon worker organizing with ALU at Cincinnati, North. I was going to say
Cincinnati, North Korea Airport.
I was going to say North Korea Airport. I was literally going to say that.
The wonderful Cincinnati, North Korea Airport.
I stopped and made myself laugh, like Cincinnati, North Korea Airport. Oh, I'm getting tired. And a member of DSA, thinking of NLRB when I go to vote for Joe in Ohio, but I'm still supporting the local pro-Palestine movement. Absolutely. Yeah, I think that's great. What you're doing, Brandon, is I think like the most important thing you can possibly do to like improve your life materially speaking. Like organizing your workplace, working with labor unions. That is the real praxis, right? Like if you vote for Joe Biden, that doesn't like cancel out all of your grassroots organizing. It's just, again, like I want to plug Ole's video a million times because it's so good. She covers this topic so comprehensively, but it's like, you do what you can. We have limited control in electoral politics. Like, what you're doing is commendable. And we have $2 from JCast. Booger's gone. It somehow landed on Matt's stash. Uh-oh, Matt.
It jumped all the way from Portland to New York City.
Wow, that's crazy. I realized this, but JCast is like the big brother that picks on you, and I'm the little brother. He's always making fun of me. He sends the Democrats super chats and says I have a booger on my nose. I'm on to you, JCast. You must be a big brother that picks on your younger brothers.
Or maybe he just doesn't like you.
I would like to think it's more of an enduring, like, nagging, but who knows? I think this one is for you.
Archangel with a $20 super chat. Thank you, Archangel. Matt, what have you seen regarding the future of OpenAI with its developing theory of mind and becoming smarter than a 9-year-old in less than 2 years? On this path, it will likely surpass human intelligence soon. I hope you're being facetious or sarcastic. I mean, right now, OpenAI is claiming that they can't do any of this if they don't steal people's work and IP and feed it to their large language models for training. And that if they had to pay these companies to use their content, then they simply wouldn't be able to do this work. I mean, does that sound like words coming from a company that's ready to change life as we know it with real artificial intelligence that surpasses human intelligence in less than 2 years? I mean, it sounds like a lot of brouhaha from a company that's trying to make money based on their hype. Honestly, that's what I think. I mean, this is all bullshit. It's all bullshit.
If you really want to know the future of AI, read the Bobaverse book series. It's about like a dude who they took his personality and uploaded it into AI. It's a very good book, but it's that's like the only way AI could work. Otherwise, it's stupid. Like, have you ever seen an ALEXA? I won't trigger all of yours. Like, the thing can barely tell you the fucking time and set timers. AI is not going to take over the planet. We're not going to get that Terminator apocalypse scenario, at least anytime soon. Okay, so this is the okay, not the last one yet. We got a couple more. Okay, Hideous Lemon with £2. Thank you so much. There should be an award for stunt work. I actually agree with that because stunt work is insane, and these people are very talented, and they deserve recognition. So yeah, I would agree with that.
Yeah.
Okay.
I don't know. I don't. Oh, I'm freezing again. I don't know what the hell is going on with my wireless today. I need to maybe even buy a new wireless modem. I got no fucking clue. Hopefully, it is the modem and not my computer because I don't know what's going on. Anyway, yeah, I agree. There should absolutely be an award for stunt work.
Yeah. Okay, I think this one is you. I want to say. Yeah, this one's you.
Awesome Possum with a $10 super chat. What happened at that comedy show in New York with Mark Norman? Confess, Matt. I have no idea. I saw that video. It's very weird, very bizarre. It's like extra bizarre because the reaction to what happened is so low key, and then everyone freaks out after it. Have you seen this, Mike?
No.
Have you seen this? All right. So there's a video. Someone's recording in the crowd, at a comedy club in New York City, set by a comedian named Mark Norman, and he's on the stage, and this guy just goes up on the stage and stands next to him. And security comes and pulls the guy off the stage and brings him outside. And then Mark Norman tries to like play it off or whatever, like, you know, whoa, this guy, what was he doing or whatever. And then security comes back into the room and takes the comedian off the stage too. And then the comedy club producers come out and tell all the people in the audience to go home. The show is over. And that there's no need to worry, but they need to leave now. Very weird. Yeah, and no one has any idea what the hell happened.
That's weird. That's really weird. Okay. So, Unknown with £5. Thank you so much. Check out the UK's ex-Home Secretary being pranked. Totally worth it and hilarious. Okay, I will. I'm always down for some good pranks, especially if they're on politicians. We've got
the comedy club. I just looked it up. The comedy club put up their own statement.
Oh, speaking of which, this person sent you a member chat about that too.
Oh, Ryan Lennon fan says, I would also like to know why you crashed at New York Comedy Club. Matt, confess now. I mean, they showed the guy in the video who crashed the stage. It very clearly was not me. All right, if what the comedy club is saying is true, this sounds like it was a stunt. New York Comedy Club says, we've received a handful of inquiries regarding a viral clip of our club being evacuated last night. First and foremost, nobody was harmed or injured. The disruption was part of a filming by at Hi, the producers that rented out our venue for the night. So since this took on a bit of a wild narrative, if you were in attendance for this taping, we'd love to host you for an actual show for free. Please email us. And then if that's true, that's both crazy, both fucked up, and they definitely got what they wanted out of it in terms of viralness.
Yeah. Okay, this one's you.
I'm back, I think.
Yes.
Oh, this is for me. Travis with a super chat. Thanks, Mac and Ike. Oh, you're welcome. Travie.
Okay. So we've got last one here. JCast, $5. Thank you, JCast. Love you all, just lighting the mood in this nightmare we're living in. I know. You're just poking fun. Yeah. No, I appreciate you lightening the mood. Well, that's it. I'll check Twitter really quick, or not Twitter, Twitch. I'm sorry.
Twitch. Yeah, me too. Oh yeah, Twitch.
Yeah.
Over on Twitch for me, I got Venus Bloodflow resubscribed with Prime, subscriber for 4 months. Woohoo, says Venus Bloodflow. Thank you. Caspa 1103 resubscribed for 1 month at tier 1, subscriber for 6 months. Leftist is the bestest, says Caspa. Thank you. Code Dependent subscribed for 1 month at tier 1. Thank you so much, Code Dependent. And no comment chick rated me earlier about 20 minutes ago. Thank you so much, no comment chick.
Shout out to no comment chick.
Well,
I don't have any updates on Twitch, but did you want to raid Cosmopolitics?
Oh yeah, let's do that. Oh, really quick though, let me drop. It's been a rough month with the new year and I guess Christmas bills and stuff like that for my Patreon page. So if you would like to support my regular show that I do by myself, Doomed and Scam Economy, and then my work on other shows like Majority Report and here on Leftist Mafia, and you got the money to do so, feel free to consider joining at patreon.com/MattBinder.
Yeah. All right. Well, without further ado, I'll queue up this raid here.
You don't want to do you don't want to raid a T-Pain?
He's not gonna notice.
I'm joking. He's not gonna notice.
It would be awesome to get a soundbite of him saying.
It's very cute that you have that dream, though, Mike. Keep dreaming, my friend. Keep your dreams alive.
I'll have to have Hassan link me because Hassan streamed with him.
Is Cosmopolitics live right now? Because it says Power Report with Dan from the web. So is she on Power Report?
Oh, maybe.
Oh, it looks like she is. Maybe. All right. Let me.
Yeah. All right. Well, I'm ready whenever you are.
Wait. Let's see what if Dan from the web is on though, and they're rating. They're doing the same thing. Let's see who has the main. I guess.
Oh, I don't have Dan as live on my Twitch.
Maybe. All right. Whatever. We could. Let's do it.
All right.
Hold on. Let's pull it up. Did you press start raid yet?
Yeah, I just did.
Oh, you did. Oh, I gotta press start raid. Did you raid them yet, or just?
I did. Yeah, I went too soon.
What's with you always going too quick here? You always do this.
All right. Let me know when you have raided, and then we'll end the broadcast. All right.
All right.
We'll see you all
everyone.
next week.